on
Yeah, it's that learning by
in that
doing and
moment.
experimenting, and like that's also a valid way to figure stuff out.
I'm so glad it did because I hated the way it looked before. I was just like, oh man, they're gonna get rid of me so
The
quick when
light
they look
went
at
on.
this. Yeah, the light went on.
Don't touch a thing.
I assumed it was my internet because ours is also pretty crummy. So amongst the four of us, it sounds like we bought the cheap plan, huh?
Yeah, I love it. I actually love thinking that this band wouldn't exist if it weren't for this guy's cat.
Wow.
I mean, quite literally, if this cat didn't exist, there would be no band. So life is super random. I love that.
Good evening, everybody. Hopefully you're having a happy Friday. I am Mark Sugiyama from Eclectic Arts based here in Seattle, Washington. Welcome to the Fun Table Sessions Round 4 in 2021. And hopefully you're here either on, well, you don't really have a choice. You're either here on YouTube or you're here on Twitch, as I'm kind of trying to migrate these live streams off of Facebook, just out of preference, really. So I think I have one more virtual interview that was advertised to the publicists, is that I would be on 3 platforms. So that one will still be on Facebook. But after that, it's going to be coming here to YouTube or coming here to Twitch. So if you're on either platform and you're new to this, if you could please follow me on Twitch or subscribe to me on YouTube, I would really appreciate it. Thank you very much in advance. And yeah, we just did a Fun Table last week, last Saturday. And for people that have been watching these in 2020, you know that for the most part, I was trying to do them every week. If I was on the Alice tour, then that happened. So, but if I was doing my own things, then that's how we went. And hey, Ken, hopefully things are good down there in Texas. And happy Friday to you, Captain Blackwood, down in Vegas. Good to have both of you joining us here. Hi, Industrial Girl. Good to see you as well. I can't even talk. Nice to have all of you here for this Fun Table session on this Friday. And yeah, as always, I have some housekeeping things to do. I actually had to write it down because it's getting to a point where I can't remember all of this stuff. And so beyond this Fun Table session is on Monday. There's supposed to, this one's definitely confirmed. So at 2 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, I have Massey, who is a singer-songwriter, very much in the rock type of genre. So she's going to be joining me at 2 p.m. on Monday. There's a slight chance of somebody else joining me in the morning, but that's still being worked out. And then on Tuesday, I have at 3 p.m. Safira, who is a velociraptor. And if you've been following me on Instagram, you've already been seeing some clips and a picture of her. And so you're kind of like, what the hell does that mean? She is a velociraptor, and we're going to do an interview. And I don't know how the hell this is going to work, but it's going to be interesting on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, I have Rafael Mendez, who's from Icon of Sin. He's been really getting a lot of notoriety because of his voice sounding uncannily like Bruce Dickinson of Iron Maiden. So he's done a lot of covers. So his original band, Icon of Sin, is got a CD coming out on Frontiers Music. So he's going to be virtually stopping by, and we're going to talk for about half an hour. So he's doing press that day. And then next Saturday, which is the 27th, I have The Living, which is an 80s punk band that had Duff McKagan from Guns N' Roses in it at one point. 2 of the original members are going to be stopping by at 3 p.m. to talk about their re-release of their material. So it's coming out, I believe, on just CD. I don't know if it's coming out on vinyl too. So I'll get a chance to talk to both of those guys. And then at 5 p.m. that same day on Saturday, the 27th, anyone that knows me from the Alice tour, like Captain Blackwood or Industrial Girl, there were certain people that I was trying to get during the Alice tour on any of the legs, including the interim shows, and schedules didn't work for some reason, and just a lot of other things happened, which I completely understand. But I was always trying to get someone from the modeling world, the fashion world in, because that's what I used to kind of work with back before Eclectic Arts ever existed. And so I've actually never met Hannah, but we've been talking about trying to do something and trying to get things together, and then during this lockdown pandemic time, she actually has time. So she's going to come on and talk about her modeling background. And I know she's doing a lot of design work now. So that's going to be really interesting. So at 5 p.m., hey, Industrial Girl, no problem at all. You can always just DM me those bands. Not a problem at all. So Saturday, I've got those 2. And then this just got confirmed yesterday, Tuesday the 30th, Boy Deluxe is going to stop by because they've got a bunch of new songs coming out. And that's Hope and Drew. And for those here in Seattle, They were called Ever So Android, one of my favorite bands. And then they moved down to LA, and then the new music wasn't quite fitting that name, so they changed to Boy Deluxe a few years ago, at least 2-3 years ago. And now they've got a bunch of new stuff ready to come out. So we're going to reconnect on Tuesday. So I'm looking forward to that. They're an amazing band. I loved Ever So Android. So a lot of people up here did. So we were really sad when they moved away down to LA. But it's great that they've got new music coming out. And I already have stuff coming up in April, but I'm not even going to get into that yet. So I really appreciate, again, everybody joining me, all the support. I know pretty much everyone that's in the chat right now has made a donation at some point. Yeah, Industrial Girl, Captain Blackwood, Ken has. I want to thank Steve for doing that. Dina, Jason just made a tip this week. So anyone that, I should put this up so I don't forget. Anyone that wants to make a tip or a donation, it goes towards this streaming platform. I have broken even because of Steve. Steve's been awesome that he wanted to make sure that I didn't have to be concerned about that. But anything beyond that, in terms of like backdrops and gear and anything else that I try to improve this these live streams on, that goes pretty much right back into it. That's why I use that money. So anything is appreciated, and they're always in the YouTube description, the hyperlinks there, and it's also on a button on my About page on Twitch. So between those two, if you feel like doing it later, if you can, that's great. If you can't, totally understand that too. So let me go back here. Yeah, I still need to shoot a message to Sasha to have some fun before summer. Yeah, that'd be awesome. You know, and Captain Blackwood, speaking of that, I just saw that you posted a picture. It looked like you had like an external mic and some things going on. Are you going to be doing a podcast or something else you got coming up? Or maybe you don't want to talk about it yet. I'm not sure, but it got me intrigued when I saw the picture earlier today. So that'd be cool if you're doing that kind of thing. And gosh, lots of stuff coming up. But hey, this is the Fun Table session. So if you're new to this concept, this is where I bring guests that I have formerly interviewed back to just have some fun and some levity. And if you drink, then we have drinks. If you don't, that's perfectly fine too. So we go off in all kinds of different directions. And depending if you're drinking alcohol, sometimes those directions get really interesting. So I have blocked out the next 2 hours. Sometimes we go long just naturally, just kind of depends. I'm upgrading my stream kit and feel, okay, cool, that's awesome. So yeah, we're gonna kind of go from there. So let's bring in our guests. And we have a returning veteran, and we have 2 brand new guests, or I guess you could say 3 brand new guests to this concept. And let me make sure this is where I need it to be. Okay. Let's bring in, let's see, who's furthest away from it? Okay, so I interviewed these 2 band members from this wonderful thrash metal band out of Texas. And I can thank Ken because he's the one that got me in contact with them. And so if you're into thrash metal, if you're into this metal in general, I know they're working on some new music that they might be able to talk about a little bit during this Fun Table if they choose to. Again, this is not an interview, just kind of hanging out kind of a thing. And I'm sticking with Coors Light tonight. Hey, I'm drinking Rainier, so cheers to you. I didn't feel like having the craft beer experience tonight. I just wanted something that I would normally drink at a show, which is usually the cheap stuff for me because I'm a cheapie. But let's bring in from Distartica, Alex and Carlos.
Okay.
Hey guys.
What is up? What's up? What's up, Mark? What's going on, Mark?
Not much, man. How you guys doing down there?
Doing good, man. Just having a few drinks already, man. Getting ready for this.
We got started
pretty early, so
yeah.
we're good to go.
I remember you sent me that email and already, as an introvert, kind of gave me anxiety already. So I already got my extrovert juice. So I'm good to go.
And you know what? To be honest with you, Alex, I've done over 140 live streams since May. And I'm finding that a lot of the artists, doesn't matter if they're musicians, actors, from whatever field they're from, there's a lot of introverted artists. There's a lot of them. And you might think, oh, when they're on stage, they must be the most extroverted person. It's like, no, that's when they let that inner part out. And then when they're off stage, man, they're just kind of like quiet and kind of meek and a little awkward. And
Yeah, awkward is a new cool, man. I hope it is. That's what I've noticed. So yeah.
No. So you're not you're in fine company here. Because even for myself, I'm not the most extroverted person at all. People and Ken could attest to this. Back in high school, I didn't talk at all. I mean, I just didn't say anything. So it was like, does he ever say something? I just kind of kept to myself. So
you were that guy, right?
Yeah.
That guy in high school is always like just there.
Yeah, I was just around. I had my circle of friends, and I see Ken saying, "Hey, Alex and Carlos." So he's with us, watching this, and all that kind of thing.
Hey, what's going on, Ken? Yeah, awesome, man.
And I see the industrial girls. I talk a lot here, but in real life, I'm super quiet. Yeah, that I can relate to that. So, but it's great that you guys are here. I really appreciate it, and we're going to move on to our next guest, who is also new to the Fun Table Sessions, everybody. And I just did an interview with her not long ago, last week. Was it last week? I can't. My sense of time's all fucked up. But she is.
Oh, we can curse. Oh, hell yeah, we can fucking curse. Let's go. Yes.
Oh yeah. You can say whatever you want to say in this format. I should have said that before, so it's not a problem at all. And so she is an amazing musician, artist. I know she does costume design, all kinds of wonderful things. So we're going to bring in Bara. If I can get this done here. There we go.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for joining me. And was it a week ago when we did the interview?
Yeah. It's been so long.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah, last week.
Okay, well, yeah, Fun Table with the Soap Girls. Well, Captain Blackwood, we've actually talked about it, but just because of the time zone difference, and they're always doing their live streams on Fridays and Saturdays and all that, because I did think about trying to bring them in, but yeah, you can only imagine what that would be like. But yeah, so Bara, nice to have you here, and I'm curious, what are you drinking of your one drink?
Whiskey ginger.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Going hard. Oh.
I'm an old man.
I was gonna say that. That's some old news.
All right. And then Alice and Carlos, what are you guys drinking down there?
Oh man, you say you're drinking cheap, like man, we're doing this.
You're going way cheaper than that.
But
We're drinking fucking Bud Light right now.
Whatever gets the job done.
That's right. Again, it makes me feel like I'm at a
bigger
show.
ones,
Yeah, totally.
for the same price for a 6-pack, a regular. So it's like, okay, it's a deal. I'm gonna get it.
Yep.
Nice. Okay, and let's bring in our veteran of the group, and she's done a handful of these Fun Table sessions. She was interviewed on the Alice tour. She's an amazing photojournalist up in Vancouver. She is also one of the co-founders of Metal Titans, the website. So she's definitely a metalhead, and somebody I've gotten to know in the actual photo pits here in Seattle. So we're gonna bring in Char Tupper. Dun, da, da. Here we go.
Ta-da!
Hey.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
Long time no see.
Long time no see.
First time for C.
Yeah.
And you are right, Mark. Co-founder is correct. Peter and myself both founded the website together. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, I actually got something right. That's awesome.
Back in 2010, so we're over 10 years old now. So
Wow.
Nice.
Okay. And
time flies. We
It's
were
fast.
talking about it, and I was just like, oh my
Awesome.
God, we're over 10 years now. So time flies when you're having fun. I don't know if 2020 really counts as a year, but we only did like 30 shows, and then it was like,
That's counted as a nightmare. That's
yeah.
We're all 1 year younger than we actually are.
Yeah,
exactly that year. doesn't
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like we said before the video, it's like we've been living in the month of March for 12
Yeah.
months now. So
Yeah.
let's see. I see Captain Blackwood saying, I'm digging the crow shirt. So Bara, there you go. He's liking his crow shirt. And then Ken Char co-founded Metal Titans. That's the website that she's
That's nice.
done and been doing the metal thing for a long time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mark was saying you guys are coming out with an album. Feel free to reach out to Mark or reach out to me. we have people that do album reviews all the time. So
Hey, yeah, we got new music coming out.
after this tonight, I'm gonna review Wardruna. So we'll see.
Nice.
We
sent you actually our first album. See what you think. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I'm down.
Right
I'm
on.
always open to new stuff. It's funny, the website has opened my eyes to so much different music now that I branch further outside of metal, but metal's where my heart lies. But anything outside too, it's always nice to hear. Like,
That's cool though. I like that you kind of just branch out too though, because I mean, it's, when you just stuck to one thing, it does kind of get does get old. I mean, I guess I'm as a musician, I'm like, you know what, I want to listen to anything else, because then you go back to what you love, and it's like, I got an inspiration now.
Yeah, and it kicks you again.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
it does. It also gives you a different kind of inspiration. Like when you listen to a different kind of music outside your genre, you stop. Like after a while, I feel like if you listen to one type of genre for too long, you start to mimic instead of like draw inspiration from, and that's never a good sign. So you need to put like a Britney Spears record on or something like after a while.
You know what? I listen to a lot of video game music because I like those people like go under like so under the radar. But when you listen to their like music pieces, it's like they're so intricate, and I'm like, man, like so I always appreciate video game music from like even from the like 8-bit era. You listen to that stuff, and it's like, man, like they actually somehow they were created with such limited equipment, and they bust some heavy tunes, that still that amplify
some heavy tunes.
Even when it comes to like my photography, like I remember shooting the Lilith Fair in like Vancouver like years ago, like before Metal Titans was even formed. And it's interesting, you kind of get a different perspective, because it's one thing to take a photo of like typical metal people with the headbang, the hair, everything, which I make that sound bad. It's amazing, but but when you photograph people that like play the piano or they do something else, like I photographed Sheryl Crow and like Sarah McLachlan at that same event, and it seemed so bizarre, but it was such a unique experience at the same time. Like you drew inspiration from a different point of view and a different fan base of people, that at the same time, photo wise, it was like, oh, okay, I'll think about that for metal next time, because it'd be interesting to see. And it does work out a lot of the times that you can integrate the same ideas there and there. It's really,
they're still artists. And also Sarah McLachlan is super underrated, I gotta say. Like everyone just knows her as like the ASPCA commercial sad song. But like she got some bangers, I gotta say.
100%.
Like, I was actually planning on doing a Sarah McLachlan cover in the near future. So
you should, and then post it, and it'd be cool to see, right?
Yeah, make her cool again. Maybe it'll end up on the next ASPCA commercial. One can only hope.
You'd probably make good money if you were on the ASPCA commercial. I'm just throwing that out. I don't know how much you'd get paid, because I know they try and get donations. That's the whole point of the commercial. But you never know. Might pay well.
Yeah.
To also answer Industrial Girl up there, she was asking about how to get to do reviews. Just go to metaltitans.com. We have a contact spot in there, and just shoot us an email. Yeah, our email is metaltitans@gmail.com. Just shoot an email and just put attention Char, and I'll catch it.
And since
I have a question real quick. Where are you seeing the chat?
It's right on the side. Like if you can see our 4 squares, it should be right on. There's a spot that says private chat, and the spot where it says comments. The comments is the ones where everyone comments.
I was wondering.
Oh my gosh, I was like, I'll see anything.
That took me a while to learn too, and then one day I was like, "Oh, it's comments."
Yeah.
Oh, the secret.
It's the secret conversation that only Mark and I know.
I know.
That's why Char is the veteran. And since we were kind of talking about about the band of Distartica and that type of thing, if the guys don't mind, I actually have the Apple commercial loaded up. If I could play it. Okay, because somebody
throw it in.
So let's get it in there so people can hear your band and see what that commercial's about. Because I bet you some people out there don't know. About that.
Fire it up, man. There's a few things. Great memory. Good times. That's a better times.
All right, here we go.
At first, my motivation was proving people wrong.
Accessibility. Vision. Voiceover. On. Button. Schedule a ride. Set pin location.
We don't want our first album to sound like a local band.
ETA. 10 minutes.
We wanted our first album to sound like a professional band that's been doing it for years.
Requesting a ride and connecting to nearby drivers. Finding your ride.
We're called Distartica. we play heavy metal.
Turn left onto Empanada Drive.
Empanada Drive?
That makes me hungry.
I ended up becoming the PR manager on the band.
Like, I didn't get what it was before. Yeah, then I was like, oh, dude, like hashtag what? Like, what? Hashtag metal, hashtag new music, or, you know, on this case, like, hashtag, like, debut album.
Messages. Reverb Nation. Double tap to open. Text field. Dictate.
Album will be dropping worldwide on April 14th, 2017, ! Follow our Reverb Nation page, period.
Done. Successfully shared.
Yes, hype as fuck.
That was so awesome. The music's amazing, guys. Awesome.
Thanks, man. Yeah, we love it.
Oh, great memories. That's what, 2017, right?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, 2017.
Yeah, I heard that. I was like, oh, did you say 2017? Oh.
Yeah. Wait, now it's like 4 years ago, right now? Shit,
That's 4 years ago now, yeah.
What the fuck?
Damn, I'm 4 years older now.
We have taken that long
to release this fucking second album. Oh my god. Yeah.
Takes time.
I was gonna say it takes time.
Yeah, I know. It's like, it's just the worst part about music though, because you're just like, yes, I made new stuff, and then you're like, oh, I have to wait 2 years for anybody to hear it.
To just like, spew music out like that, man, it takes time, you know, and people consume it like that, you know. Okay, what's next? And it's like, whoa, man, it took
I know
years.
Like the CEO from Spotify who wants you to release shit like every day.
Oh yeah,
oh yeah, no. Sure. Because everyone just has an endless budget to release stuff every day.
I know. That's also the thing. There's like so many people involved. Even if you do all like the production and the recording and all the writing and all that stuff yourself, like you still have to wait for somebody to like mix it or like somebody to master it. And then, you know, like you have to get artwork for it and like all this stuff that takes forever. And yeah, but then, you know, Spotify's like, well, if you want to be famous, then you just have to upload something every month or every 2 weeks or whatever. It's like, oh, like what, 14-year-old kids are doing this? Like, you know, like their parents are like helping them do it. I don't know.
Right? I was gonna say, it just seems ridiculous. You're like, you know, you can't actually release stuff that quickly. Like you think of, like even some bands release every like year and a half or 2 years. To me, that even seems like pretty quick. Because I'm always like, wow, how long does it take to write all the music, clean it up before you even get to the studio? And then you get to the studio and you make more changes because the producer or whoever makes suggestions and gives you more reasons to change it. And you're like, oh, well, back to the drawing board and start again.
Right. It's funny, right? Because I kind of look at it also, because I always try to look at other perspectives just to see where they come from, right? And I think the reason why, like, bands do that too, though, is because I know that record labels are trying to fit into modern times where we literally now live in like in a time where like you see something and then you want the next high, like the next minute on your phone.
Instant gratification.
Instant gratification. Thank you. Yeah. So it's like, you know, like it's not the same thing. I mean, you see it, you kind of see that as well with like streaming services where they drop an entire show, all of the episodes, so people can binge watch, right? So the same with music, because I remember like somebody made a comment on our album when it came out. It's like, oh man, I got the album. When's the next one? I'm like,
I haven't thought about it.
Today. Like,
for real.
Take your time.
Listen to it.
There's so much in that album that you know you just you were hyped that moment, and now you want that next that next high like right now again. It's like whoa. So it's like, it's like that, you know. So it's rough because that's why I think a lot of bands, you know, they try to fit that in rather than releasing an entire album. They're just releasing songs now.
It's true.
Yeah, or EPs or whatever. Like that's basically what I decided I'm gonna do. It's like, you know, I'll release like singles and then an EP and then like more consistently instead of like, because if you release a whole album, you're just like, oh shit, I have to like have a bunch of, you know, experiences and inspiration and write this album and get it out within a year. People are gonna forget about me. So, and then
Yeah.
also like throw in like, you know, the before times when people toured, and like you have to factor that in too. Like, you know, if touring bands are also expected to churn out an album every year, that's kind of impossible. I mean, it's not impossible, but it's like a lot of stress. So hi Wes, by the way, from Remission Entertainment. I just did a remix for this artist called Solve, and so he represents them.
Awesome.
Oh, cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Hi.
Welcome to the Fun Table Sessions, and we're talking about all kinds of interesting things here.
Yeah.
And before we move on to other things, I know that Captain Blackwood Bara mentioned your crow shirt. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of the comic book with James O'Barr and all that kind of stuff, or where are you?
Yeah, I am a big fan, but like definitely the movie is what solidified my fandom. I've seen that movie. I've probably like my top viewed movies that I could quote are Beetlejuice and The Crow. Like those two movies I've seen probably more than any movies in my life. That soundtrack is what like really got me into, you know, metal, industrial, goth music. It's just a great movie. I know that some people find it like really dorky or whatever, but I don't care.
That was great. I actually recently saw the Crow, and I forgot how freaking awesome it was.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's like 9 Inch
It
Nails
is good.
movie.
Yeah. I was gonna say that too. That's read my mind. I was just thinking that. It's almost like 9 Inch Nails the movie.
Exactly. Yep. Nice.
There it is.
There you go.
Double representing.
I was like, what is he doing?
Yeah. He's fading. He's fading.
He's like so embarrassed. He's like, oh, I can't talk about this.
No,
it's just like nothing.
So that's my movie poster that was signed by James O'Barr back in '94 when the film actually came out. So I'm a huge fan of the comic book, huge fan of the first film. So that's why I asked.
Cool. That's amazing.
I'll also add, I could probably quote Beetlejuice easily through like the whole movie.
Yeah, there was a period in my life. There was a period in my life where I think I was like 15 or something, and like I didn't really have friends in school because I was like, I grew up in this suburban town where like I was literally the only goth girl at my high school. And so like I would just come home and I would put Beetlejuice on. I would just watch that like every day. It was like my best friend, you know? It's oh my god, it sounds so
living. It's almost like you're living Olivia's life, kind of like, you know what I mean? Like Olivia was so alone, even in her own family.
Utterly alone.
I'm not saying you're alone in your family, but I should say, but like she's kind of singled out. Yeah. But she's like the coolest character. Well, Beetlejuice is number one. Then Olivia.
Yeah. But Olivia really drives the movie.
Yeah, she does. Yeah. She really gets the pace of the movie. Yeah. And I always love seeing her with like her little old camera and just being like,
I know. I wanted to be like that so bad. So I like started taking pictures of everything. I used to like spike my bangs and just wear like really long. Yeah. I've done like I made the red dress from like the wedding dress for a Halloween costume one year.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tried to do the spiky bangs, but it didn't work.
It's not very it doesn't work out very well.
No. Spiky bangs, you mean? Yeah.
It just kind of like turns into like a weird broom after a while. Like, it doesn't stay like in the movie.
Like, just forget it. You need professional crew for that. Forget it.
Yeah. I can never even style bangs. I don't even know what I'm doing.
No, me neither. I have them, yet I can't style them. So whatever.
I can't style mine either.
Come on, Mark, get with the program.
Yeah.
There you go.
What about you guys, Alex and Carlos? What movies are in your top favorites?
Okay, so mine, I'm a huge video game nerd. I actually play fighting games and I play in tournaments and stuff. So I'm involved in the fighting game community, actually.
He's visually impaired, if you hadn't noticed.
Yes, you can know that. Yeah, and you can talk about freely. Actually, I'm very comfortable.
Yeah, he makes jokes about that. So you.
Yeah. Oh my God, you're blind! Wow. But how do I go about it? Because I don't want to offend you. Get out of that shit.
Like, I'm cool. I think
that's why Mark played the commercial, right? Because like we did that because like I was very heavily into like into technology and stuff, and of course I'm very like professional when it comes to like what you saw in the video. Basically, that video promoted accessibility from Apple, and I was kind of like one of the front people that promoted that. When we did that commercial. So it just so happens that I was like, hey, look, I'm in a band. And they were like, really?
Yeah.
Can we hear it? I'm like, yeah.
I think they talked to him because they know. I mean, Apple got the accessibility stuff just right off the bat. You don't need an external app for that. It's just they spend the time with. And I mean, think about it. Like it doesn't make them any money, but right off the bat, the iPhone, which Carlos had at the time, it was accessible for him. He could do everything and participate in everything.
Yeah.
So he got it right off the bat, So they reached out to him because they noticed that he was playing. He was using his Apple products and playing video games, And then he casually said like, "Oh yeah, I'm in a band," and they got interested in that, and they did. Apple has every year they have an accessibility month. They feature a lot of people. Cool. It's really cool, and it's worldwide. They'll pick like people who have their lives have been held from all that technology, which is great. It's great. I mean, Carlos. Yeah. I mean, he's active on everything. Twitter, Twitch, everything. So technology allowing that right off the bat is freaking awesome. So there's this Android Apple kind of thing, but from our perspective, it's like kind of accessibility wise, it worked. So it's not fanboying over it. It's just that it works.
Yeah. It works better for your needs.
Yeah. So Android. But they reached out and they did the whole thing.
It's funny because these guys crucified me for it, right? Because like at first I was just kind of focusing on just the accessibility part of it and everything. And then when I mentioned that I was casually in a band, they're like, "Man, why are you casually saying that you're in a band? You're in a fucking metal band, man." Yeah. So that makes sense, So
and he's talking about the video producers, because the video producers when they did the video, I mean, they were amazed of all the things he was doing at the time. So, I mean, that's how we ended up having the band in the commercial and everything. And it was I mean, it's like one highlight of our lives. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Basically, it was in my house, and they had like a movie set back there. I never seen that. It's like amazing experience. It was pretty cool. So
nice.
Playing that, you brought great memories.
Great memories. Yeah. But like going back to the movies though, the reason I mentioned that because I'm visually impaired and everything, but I've been prominent within the fighting game community. And I stream on a weekly basis where I play fighting games, and now I'm known as the guy who plays at the high level, even though I'm visually impaired. So my movie that I like, that I could quote you like out of it 100% all the time, is that 1995 Mortal Kombat movie.
I knew it.
Yeah. There it is.
And I'm sure you guys have seen the trailer because it
the
got
new one.
a new one.
I heard they're doing a new one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's going all out because the 1995 movie, it was, which I kind of liked actually because franchise, right? That is considered, and that's I guess because I grew out of it, right? Because Mortal Kombat is known for fatalities and all that. I'm like, these characters actually have life to them. Like a lot of the one of the co-creators of Mortal Kombat, he doesn't work with the current studio right now, but he's one of the co-creators of a lot of those characters. And he created a lot of their backstories. So to me, like the reason I like the 1995 movie, no, it's John Tobias. Basically, the reason I like the 1995 movie is because they took something and they took a lot of the violence out of it, but they still told a great story. Instead of saying, "Oh, Mortal Kombat is equals fatalities, violence," it is. It comes with it, but. And so that's why I think a lot of that's why the new movie coming out right now, because the producer, he came out and saying like, "Oh, this new movie is gonna have fatalities," and they try to use that as a selling point. And to me, I'm like, I don't care about your fatalities, dude. Don't give me a Saw movie like a. Don't give me Saw 7. I want, like
Saw 1000.
Yeah.
Saw 1000.
Saw movie, like where it's just like torture porn. Don't give me that shit. Like I want a good storyline. Tell me
they have good stories.
Like tell me why this character becomes Scorpion. Tell me why this character becomes Sub-Zero, because they have storylines. Like Scorpion's story is basically like he loses his clan and his wife and son to the sorcerer who disguises themselves as their enemy, like enemy clan. And so, but anyway, but that's like this whole storyline that's behind a lot of these characters. So I don't give a shit about fatalities. Tell me a good story that I could sit by and be like, man, I actually felt that, because I don't feel fatalities. I don't give a shit about how hardcore they can show the blood and guts everywhere. It's like going back to Saw. The first 3 Saw movies told a good storyline. The gore was kind of like the impact, It set it up really well, like the impact. But then after when Saw 4 began, it was just kind of like, oh, what's the most gruesome trap we could come up with? Let's tell like some kind of like we call it in Spanish telenovelas, or like like soap operas. Soap operas with gore. That's how it become like, come on, I want a good storyline. And so that's why I'm actually kind of hesitant going into this new Mortal Kombat movie, because I'm like, okay, it's gonna be gory. That's whatever. I guess the spirit of Mortal Kombat. But tell me a good storyline. That's my issue with a lot of movies. It's like,
I get it now.
Yeah, that's how
saying that.
Dude, I've been ranting on social media all this time. Like, man, fuck this movie.
No, I get it. I feel that way with like even like for the longest time. I was like, I hate comic book movies because it's just fighting. And then like I watched WandaVision. I don't know if you guys watched that. And then like
no spoilers, please, no spoilers, because I'm about to check it out.
No spoilers.
Oh no spoilers. I'm not spoiling it at all. I watched that, and then I like actually really liked it, and then so I decided to go through the entire MCU. So I'm up until like I just watched Black Panther, and so like I'm finding that I actually really like these because most of them they like develop the characters very well, and there's a lot of heart, and then there's like some of the villains like you understand why they're villains, and so that it makes them even better because you like almost are on their side, but wait, they're bad. Like, so I like that over the fighting or the blood or whatever. That's fun too sometimes when it adds to the story. Like going back to the Tarantino movies, like you can put as much blood as you want in there because the story's good. Also, it doesn't rely.
Tarantino.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny you say that too, though, because I was literally just talking about this with a little bit because I came in late into the whole Star Wars thing, and I'm like watching everything right now from scratch, right? And it's like now I see why a lot of modern media like really like gets inspiration from Star Wars, because they really told good storylines. Like every character, like I know among the hardcore Star Wars fans, they typically kind of look down on the prequels, like episode 1 and 3, right?
Yeah, like the Force Awakens and all that. Yeah.
Well, no, not even that. Well, I'm talking about like the Phantom Menace,
like the others.
Those, right? But I got to when I got to the third the movie out of that trilogy, the Revenge of the Sith, like the way like the way Anakin Skywalker became like Darth Vader, man, like they set it up so well that like I remember this just happened like 2 weeks ago, right? I was just like it was like late at night, and I was like, let me watch this movie real quick, and I ended up getting into it, and then like it got, because to me the way the whole time they set up Anakin, he was a child, and then he like kind of grew up, he became a Jedi. But he always, the way that the actor portrayed him was really well, because he kind of made him like very humble, even though he was like inside, he was just burning with hate, But outside, he was like, hey, yes, master. I don't agree with you, master, but whatever, And then the final battle shows up with Obi-Wan, and just the way he says when he tells him, I hate you, with that, like basically just finally letting it all out, even though he's getting burned and everything. I'm like, oh, that's how he became, like Darth Vader, like how he went like from there to the dark side. So that's what I'm talking about. Character development, that to me, again, I'm a late Star Wars fan, so probably be like a lot of hardcore fans, and man, those suck, but I don't give a fuck. I think it was great.
One of the reasons Carlos mentioned that right now specifically is because, like, going back a little bit to accessibility, when you're watching a movie and you have this nice view, you got the music going on in the back. It's a visual thing, and that a lot of times that sets up the story or helps with the story. But if you don't see it, you don't know what the hell's going on. So Carlos comes back and listens to
they have this thing called audio descriptions. So what happens is like whenever there's a movie, whenever there's action scenes, like there's a guy, or no, that's not a guy, a person, could be a guy or girl, whoever. that's narrating like the action scenes, like, oh, as he jumps from the top rope, you know, this, that's that, you know, it's like they're describing it. But what I like about the person that was narrating the Star Wars movies, you can tell he was also like he was also like a Star Wars fan, because he gets hyped.
Yeah,
he gets really hyped or describing the movies. I'm like, man, you're really getting me into this movie even more, you know. So I really liked how the whoever they decided to choose, like, so now, because now that's a job. They're called audio describers. So what they do is they go into the studio and they watch the movie, but they're in real time. They're describing what's happening on screen.
Yeah. When we were kids, Carlos would bring home audiobooks, you know, and tape. And we heard, actually, I heard the entire Harry Potter series, almost all of it, in audio tape, you know. And the reader of the book was Gene Dell. And he did just so great. So I never read the books, but I heard them, you know. And when you have a great reader, you know, giving you all that, it's your imagination goes just, you know, crazy. Details that you come up yourself, you know. So you know, Carlos missed out. You know, if they don't have those audio descriptions, he will miss out on a lot of you know, like the Joker. There's a lot of parts, you know. The recent movie, there's a lot of parts where it's just the acting, but there's no description on it, you know. But if someone describes what is feeling, you know, what it looks like, it takes, you know, he's missing out on that, or everybody missing out on that.
That's very true. Yeah,
that's, you know, so that's why Carlos is a new fan to the Star Wars franchise.
Yeah, because
I missed out a lot on
I missed out a lot because I remember when I was a teenager, like I watched these movies, and again I say watch, seeing, and everything. I don't care if I'm blind, I still use those words. But anyway, you know, I watched yeah, trust me, I don't care. Like I watched these movies when I was a teenager, right? And so to me, right? So to me, all like, you know, during the fight scenes, all I heard was like,
I can imagine what that seems like without the description.
It's like, what? Why is it very rare? Yeah, what the hell? Yeah. But no, and this is an example of, listen, why I'm a new Star Wars fan. I did not know that the good Jedis, their lightsabers are blue and the bad ones are red. Why? Because the describer told me that, you know. So that I did not know that, you know.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, I haven't noticed that. It's true.
Yeah,
I did not, you know. So now, and another thing that to me, because I made a post on Facebook actually, and I kind of went with it when I was like, you know what, you know, there's a lot of visuals that it tells a story. So if you miss that, like the visual parts, then you're not.
Yeah.
Story.
You're not gonna know what's going on.
Because I did not know actually that in the final battle with the Obi-Wan, that Obi-Wan actually cuts Anakin's legs off, like below the knees.
Yeah.
And then, like, he's actually crawling, like, to try to get away, and then like the lava starts burning his stumps, and I'm like, oh, that's messed up.
Yeah.
So, you know, so it's like, wow, like, dude, like,
it kind of explains the direction he goes, right?
Yeah.
Like you already know he was going that direction, but then like when Obi-Wan's like, you were the chosen one, and you know, all that, like it, and the description of it too. Like I imagine for you, it's like, oh my goodness, that makes such a difference. Yeah,
that was a part where the describer really got hyped into it too. You know, it's like so I was like, oh my god, and it was again, this is during the weekday. You know, I had to work the next day, and I was like at 1 a.m. I don't think I fell asleep because I was just like anxious for some reason. I was like, damn, like now I understand Darth Vader. Damn, you know. So I was like, and I couldn't fall asleep. So that's why I became a new fan now, because there's so much detail that I missed. So man, when it comes to movies, it's a whole new experience for me right now.
Right?
Yeah. Wow. Never thought about it that way.
I didn't thought about that.
Well, and when you're talking about the blue and the red, Carlos, I was thinking sometimes I need that explanation for myself, and I can see what's going on.
Yeah. There's a lot of movies that I could, like, to me, like I watch a movie and I'm just like, I still don't get what's going on. Like,
yeah.
So I can't imagine, like, I can imagine, like, for someone who's hard of sight or things like that, or disability, it's just like, if I can't get it, how's everyone else? And, it just makes you wonder, right?
Yeah.
That's how I felt with Game of Thrones. I was like, I watched all the seasons, but I was still like, wait, who's that guy again? wait, what just happened?
Yeah.
And like, I'm a massive Lord of the Rings fan, but it took
Hell
me
yeah!
Love that movie.
several-
Love that
It
movie.
took me like
Yes.
so many views to remember everybody's name, where everybody's
Oh, yeah.
from, what language they all speak, like what the name of their weapons are, all that stuff. And
Yeah.
so, like, you know, like now I'm a huge geek about it because
Yeah.
it's amazing. But it's my favorite, like, fantasy.
Yeah. Like The Hobbit 2 was done just as well. Like, of
Yeah.
course it is because it's Peter Jackson. Like, it's the same person doing all 6 movies, but you know, it's like I just recently
I
got
didn't
The
like
Hobbit.
those.
Yeah. I just recently rewatched The Hobbit and I found I was like, oh wow.
Yeah,
okay,
Peter
now I
Jackson
see where they
did 'em.
tie this and this and this. Like you see where they
Yeah.
tie the 2 movies because it's like, oh, okay. I still like the Lord of the Rings. The Lord of the Rings I liked more than The Hobbit, but I still like both sets of
Totally,
movies.
because the problem
Yeah.
with The Hobbit is like The Hobbit, if you've ever read it, is a very small
Mhm.
book. It didn't
Yeah.
need to be 9 hours of movie. It didn't
No.
need to be like 9 hours of movie, and it was also like notorious for just like how quickly they got it done. So the CGI is like really bad, and even Peter Jackson has said like, you know, it kind of suffered from like the amount of rush that they put on it. So like
Yeah.
I thought they could have done a better job, and it made me sad because I love the first 3 movies. But you
Yeah.
know, he's still Peter Jackson, and he still delivered. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I was gonna say,
like,
too, fun fact with Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. Now with Lord of the Rings, they nailed it when it comes, because I'm one of those people that if I read the book and the movie comes out,
Yeah.
usually the movie's garbage. Like a
Usually,
lot
yeah.
of
yeah.
a lot
That
of
happens
people
90% of the time.
Yeah, oh yeah. Like a lot of people praise like The Shining in the movie. I'm like, dude, read the freaking book. That's much better than that
Yeah.
70s movie from The Shining. To me, that's garbage because they messed up so many things that
the Shining movie.
Yeah, The Shining movie.
Yeah.
I hate that
I
movie.
don't like that
I
movie.
hate it.
No.
But The Lord of the Rings is the only I guess like a book series. The reason why the movies are so long is because they did try to stay true to the books, actually. And then,
Yeah.
like you mentioned about The Hobbit, yeah, they kind of did the opposite. And
They
that's
did the
why-
opposite.
they
I
did the
know.
opposite. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I only watch the extended cuts when I watch the Lord of the Rings movies, because like, why would you watch the shorter versions? You miss so much.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a lot to hang with, though, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, have you guys ever seen like Clerks 2?
No, I haven't. No.
I haven't
No.
actually. I have not.
Yeah, Mark has,
I
right? You know that joke, right, where it's like the Star Wars versus the Lord of the Rings, and the guy just makes a joke like, "This is all 3 Lord of the Rings movies," and they're just like walking, and then he like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's it, like,
That is
for
the
like
purpose
9
of
hours.
all 3 movies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. And so
And then-
like whatever.
Well, and then at the end where they're like, they take the eagle and they fly back. I'm like, where was the eagle in the beginning of the movie? Yeah. Like, the stage
It was
was
just testing
9
them.
hours. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Right, it was
Well,
just
it's
like a
like-
test.
Yeah. And same, they
don't
do
know.
the eagles in the Hobbit too. And then they do that. And I believe it's the first of the Hobbits. And they're like riding the eagles and they only take them like a fraction of the way. And you're like, you know, you could have
Yeah.
just flew them to the kingdom. Like, we're saving
you
the
wouldn't
dwarves a
have this-
long time.
You wouldn't have this heartwarming story, though. you
That's
know?
true.
About the like
Of dwarves
persistence
walking
of
very
mankind.
far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's like
eating
twice
tongs
as
and-
far for them. They have
And
little
fucking
legs.
up some guy's kitchen, you know, like.
Mhm. I actually like that scene. I find it funny because
Yeah.
like he just keeps letting them in. I'm like, when would
I
you?
know.
Why wouldn't you just stop letting them in at like the 3rd guy? Like, you know, when you look in your little
Yeah.
peephole, that there's a guy that's short there, and it's gonna be
Yeah.
another one that's raiding your kitchen right now.
I know
Gonna
that
take
scene gives
time.
me so much anxiety. I'm like,
Oh yeah,
No, Mom, you can
you're
go.
fucking everything up.
right? No.
Yeah.
Like the feature I like about The Hobbit is I like Smaug the most out of the movie. I like the dragon out of the movie, but that's like really about
Benedict
it.
Cumberbatch.
Yeah, I know. Like it's just like
Yeah,
he does
like-
it so
Hey,
well.
I didn't know it was
He
him.
does everything so
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
I
Like,
did
Yeah,
not.
it's
guy could,
Benedict
like-
Cumberbatch. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like I could
saw
read
him.
me IKEA instructions and I'd be like, oh, please tell me more.
Tell me more about my weirdly designed table
Yeah.
from Sweden.
Totally. It's gonna fall apart in 5 minutes.
Yeah. It'd be funny if the instructions were like a picture of him setting up the table, like instead of like the actual instructions, it's just a picture of Benedict, like put the table here, put the leg
I don't
here.
know why IKEA hasn't thought of that yet. It's
No.
good, marketing idea.
Well, if they could, like,
Hit me up, IKEA.
I could see them doing like ABBA if that was an
Oh my
option.
god.
Just doing the instruction. Like, and ABBA.
Yes. Yeah. I'm surprised they haven't done that yet. I'm sure they have. Like, I don't know. I don't watch Swedish commercials or anything. You know?
No, I haven't been to Sweden. I went to Norway, but I haven't been to Sweden.
Yeah.
So
I
don't know
went
what
to
it's like
Sweden
there.
once. I've been to Sweden once. Back in 2015, I went to Stockholm, and
Nice.
it was weird because like when I like got to the city center, I got out of the train and it looked like downtown San Diego. Like, I don't know if you've ever been to Southern California,
Yeah.
but I was just like, wait, did the plane take me to the wrong place? Like, it felt like that because there was like a
Starts with an S.
7-Eleven. There was like a 7-Eleven on the corner, and like everything looked kind of like new, like modern, and like, I don't know, it was weird. But yeah, Sweden's like a weird place because it's like, it feels American almost, but like European at the same time, and like everybody speaks English there. I don't know, it's strange.
It was the same with Norway.
more.
Yeah. Like I should say with the English part, it definitely felt more like you were in Norway and in Norway. Yeah. I can't speak for Sweden, but yeah, I was gonna say I know my sister-in-law and my brother went to Stockholm and stuff too. They did like a couple months backpacking over there. And they definitely said they're like being in Stockholm felt just like being here at home in BC. They're like, it doesn't feel any different. Yeah.
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 It was
So
weird.
it's
Yeah.
bizarre.
But like I would like to go, explore like in the countryside more so because like I don't know. Like that's what seems like more majestic to me. Like going
Oh yeah. Yeah. Because like I went to Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Were you gonna say something, Mark?
No.
Oh no.
Oh my god. I'm like
There you go. Yeah,
We're like, oh, sorry.
I'm just like
I'm
like
alcohol's talking
beer
now, I don't
and
know.
just like I'm like jamming to you guys now.
yeah.
Keep
We're
with
just
your
talking
thought.
about Scandinavian.
Scandinavia.
We're talking about Eurovision.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that movie?
Nah, man.
No.
You know what's
No.
funny on top of what you said that like I was never much of a movie person because I've been a book reader like all my life pretty much.
Yeah.
So, because it's more detailed and everything. Because movies kind of just here's a quick story with some badass visuals. To me, that's always been a movie, like And so, but now because of
until the audio
description. So now, because somebody mentioned about like going to the MCU, I'm about to do that once I'm done with Star Wars. Because like I found out that it has audio descriptions like all of the movies. Because
I would expect it to.
I'm like,
hope
you know
so.
what?
Yeah.
Next.
They better do.
But there's because you know how the new Justice League movie just came out from what's his name?
Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder. Yeah. It doesn't have audio descriptions, so that's the only.
It's
kind of
another reason why the MCU is better.
Yeah, I was gonna say I find I just like the MCU universe. Like I watched what was it? It was. I think it was Wonder Woman. I don't remember now. I kind of just Aquaman. There you go, Aquaman.
Yeah,
and I was just like, I
DC.
hated. Yeah, that's DC. Yeah, and I was like, I hated that movie. I absolutely hated that movie. So much effect, and it was just like, in one point he could do things, and then the next point he couldn't lift things, and I'm like, if he could lift the sub, then he should be able to lift this the next scene. Like I don't know, like there were things that just
DC,
they weren't consistent, whereas MCU is so much more consistent and so much more depth.
Think about DC because with DC the DC universe versus the Marvel, I guess like the the universe. The DC universe is doing great when it comes to video games because obviously I'm involved in the video game side, so I kind of know like they're doing good. Marvel was doing good until this last Marvel game that came out in 2018. So in the gaming scene, Marvel is actually doing pretty bad. But in terms of the movie aspect,
they're killing it.
They're killing it. Whereas
DC
100% is trying hard to come back. That's why I think that this Justice League right now, I've seen is getting good reviews everywhere. Why? Because it's finally going dark. Because DC was catered to kids and all that. So a lot of it, they tone it down or whatever. But it's funny because when you look at media, when it comes to DC, they do try to tone it down. But the actual comics, even like the early comics, like in the original ones that came out, they were pretty brutal. They were like super, brutal, But it's like, but it comes to me, that's like they wanted to, I guess, reach out to kids, like in terms of the marketing aspect of it.
But now they're making it more like for mature audiences now. So I think that's why a lot of people were saying that this DC, the new Justice League that just came out is legit, because they kind of went dark. They finally kind of showed the true colors of a lot of these superheroes. So I think they're trying to cater to the Marvel fans, because Marvel's used to that. They're used to that. Whereas DC is not. But you're right about continuity as well, because DC has so many universes. I mean, and they released a new reboot comic series called the New 52, which was like a reboot of like all the different like timelines that occurred because of one event or whatever, So I think they're trying that once again, is to reboot everything and just tell like a brand new like universe story to kind of fit everything together. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, Marvel's feeling it, but DC, I don't know.
Yeah, when it comes to the movie aspect, I get it. Yeah,
They're,
I mean, not quite.
No, and then they had that what was that called? Suicide Squad movie.
Oh, that's garbage.
Yeah, that is. Oh God, no.
Like.
I didn't mind Harley Quinn's movie. Like, I didn't mind it, but I would definitely say like all the MCU ones are like 10 times better.
Yeah,
like, it's just like, it didn't have to be.
That Jared Leto Joker, I was just like,
no, I don't even count that. I just ignore that.
No, the only Joker is Heath Ledger. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think of Joker though? I mean, what's his name?
Joaquin Phoenix. I did not like that movie. I know I'm like gonna get like daggers thrown at me or whatever.
The comments are spreading now.
Yeah.
I know, right? Everybody's gonna.
I'm just kidding.
Nah, like I'm curious though why, because like I actually thought like they kind of humanized the Joker.
Because that's why I don't like. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Okay.
Yeah, no, right? No, but I want to hear this though. But I'm just saying like. Because they humanized the Joker, right? Where like they kind of gave him backstory, which again, this is where DC suffers, because yet another multiverse kind of bullshit, once again. But it's kind of like explaining as to why he became the Joker. It's kind of like going back to like the whole like Darth Vader kind of saga, where like you kind of know where this character comes from, whatever. But there's still kind of like a mystery to it, kind of thing. So I kind of liked it in that sense, but. In terms of like acting, now when you talk about like like the practical side of it, acting, I think Heath Ledger is the Joker for sure.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%, he was the number one. I personally, for me, he was number one.
He was
Joaquin Phoenix, I would say, is number two, because I do find like with that movie, like you were saying, it really tells the story. It really goes more in depth as to like. To me, I actually find this would be like the Joker would be a good movie for like mental health, like. Representation, because it's like I find like if they had taken a good look at that movie and see, oh, this is what could happen when you cut services to a world that needs mental services to people that may have mental imbalances or anything like that. So I find like it should be like the ad for those services. Like I just feel like that really would showcase that very well.
I'm a psychology major, so I think that's why it kind of me in that sense. Yeah, because and. So when I saw that, I was like, you know what? Yeah, this it's like it kind of hits you, because even as a psychology major, I still doubt the psychology aspect of services, because once things become corporate, it's like, oh man, it ruins everything. So because psychology can be very unrealistic as well, where it says, oh, in order for you to get better, you need to change your environment. But it's like I can't even change my environment when I have no money, I have no support. Yeah. So how do you expect me to change my environment when I really don't have the basis to do that to begin with? So
I find the Joker showcases that very well. Like how was he supposed to, like, and then like he gets like all these incidents happen like in a series, and then like the twist at the end too. Like I won't spoil it, but the way they do it at the end is just even better. Like the whole thing ends up being like in his head and all that stuff, and it's just I think it's pretty cool. Yeah,
I'm biased overall. Maybe I think again because I try to like kind of look back at myself, be like, why do I like it and why else doesn't like it? But I think that's why, it's because as a psych major, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, that makes sense. But as far as the entertainment aspect of it, I'm like, I can see that why, because everybody's expecting Heath Ledger, before levels,
That's not exactly why. Like it's just because like I kind of felt like that character didn't need like a cheesy backstory like that, like because he's so like. He's just so terrifying as he is, and so like giving him that kind of like outlandish backstory was a little like extra, I guess. And then like I don't know, like everyone kind of says that that's the movie for like to pay attention to mental health or whatever, but it's like, but that's not like a realistic scenario. You know, there's like
No, yeah, that's very true.
So it's like there's other movies that have been like
it's like the extreme of it.
Yeah, like there's been like movies like Girl Interrupted or like The Machinist or like We Need to Talk About Kevin or like these kinds of movies that are like real life, like people with mental issues that I think are like not really talked about as much because they're not, you know, big budget, big studio movies.
True.
Joaquin Phoenix did a great job. It's just kind of like it was really predictable to me. Like from the beginning, I knew exactly what was going to happen.
And unfortunately, that is the downfall of a movie like that because we all know what Joker turns into. So you already know the outcome of the movie. You already know he's going to become like a psychotic clown figure that rattles up Gotham. Yeah.
Like, I'm sure like everyone's seen it by now, but yeah.
And you know what? Yeah. To me, it's not a spoiler because everyone who's watched any Batman and seen Joker, you all know how he turns out. Like it's
spoiler, he's not great. Yeah.
Well, it's
like,
kind of
you can't do a different ending. Like you can't change the ending. Like you can't be like, oh, he turns out fantastic and he's rich and he's okay. Like you can't change the end. You know, he ends up become a psychotic villain from Gotham.
We mentioned about, like movies that portray mental illness, right? Because same thing with another movie that I like, but I know it's flaws. It's A Beautiful Mind.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's one of those things where like it does portray schizophrenia and everything, but of course it's Hollywood, so they're not gonna affect. So it's like don't use that as
that's true.
Like a template as to like what it is, you know, because it's like you also kind of have to realize between like what like movies try to do versus like if they're actually trying to like actually like kind of send a message with it, you know. So because I remember when I was again because I watched this movie in a psychology class. And that's one of the criticisms I made is like, you know what, this movie, tells this, but it is kind of realistic and it's very Hollywood-ish, if you know what I mean. You know, it's like it's not really what's out there, you know. So
totally.
So that when you mentioned about the Joker, like in your perspective, I'm like, it really brought it back to me. It's like, okay, so it's kind of the same with The Beautiful Mind, same concept. Yeah, so that makes sense.
Yeah, but I think like A Beautiful Mind isn't quite like the main character doesn't turn into like, you know, a psychopath killer. like he's not like
that starts riots in the streets. Like, totally kills people, shoots a talk show host out of nowhere. You know, just kills people for no reason.
Yeah, so like also not everyone that has like, you know, mental health issues grows up to be like a psychopath killer. So
and that's true.
You know,
I would say in the way that
do they
up to the point, maybe not to the point where they become a psychotic killer. Let's put it that way. Mental health up to the point before that point. Not everyone turns out that way. You're right. Some people just are more secluded or self-isolated in that scenario. But I will say I noticed Ken says on the side, no love for Cesar Romero or Jack Nicholson. I do like Jack Nicholson, don't get me wrong. He looks, I find he looks more
I was gonna say that,
kind of like the original idea. Yeah. Whereas later on, I find like Heath Ledger and Joaquin Phoenix, same thing. They kind of changed the original look of Joker, but they still add to the character of the Joker.
You know, Jack Nicholson.
I do like the others too. I do.
Jack Nicholson.
He did kill it. Actually, no, he killed
it. In fact,
I
recently watched it because I watched it when I was a kid. You know, I just watched it because I was a kid. You know, really there's no analysis to it. But recently, I watched it. I think it's about like a couple of months ago. You know, pandemic and shit, and it was great. It was great. I went back to it and I was like, you know what, Jack Nicholson, wow. But Batman and and Joker in there, they're both very well represented for that movie. So
yeah. Well, those movies, to my recollection, they're more like the comic booky version of it, right?
Yeah.
Like I haven't seen those movies.
And
I haven't seen those movies since I was a kid.
Me too. Yeah.
He hit the comic book nerds, which I'm one of those people. So I'm like, oh he hit me. So you know, so that makes sense. Mm-hmm.
With Romero, it's just before my time. You know, it just is. You know.
Yeah. And then like the Nolan movies made it like dark, like way darker and like.
That's where we get the joke.
That's what I liked about the Nolan ones. They took Batman to a darker level. Other than, unfortunately, I feel bad that with Christian Bale going, "I'm Batman," that kind of like was like the spoof of the Nolan movies. But
I know.
And then the final one, oh my god,
Oh,
there's so many
favorite meme on the line.
Yeah.
Just no.
Where is it? For no reason, freaking like Christian Bale going like over the top with his Batman portrayals.
Oh yeah.
But he's like, he's like, where is it? Where?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, bro,
where's the trigger? It's like stop.
There's not a certain Batman level you need to go, man. Tone it down, man.
Drop it a few
Christian
notches.
Bale.
Drop it a little bit, man.
Come on, Christian. Dial it back a notch. I always love the part where they're like, it's near the end. Like, well, I'm gonna spoil a little bit, but it's like near the end.
It's been out for a while.
It's been out for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Get with the program.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
like,
even I watched it. I mean, that's saying something.
Yeah.
Damn.
Right? I just always love the scene where he looks like his head's tilted. He's just like he looks so dumbfounded, and I'm like, for Batman, you look a little stupid here. Like, I'm just saying, you should figure out where this conversation is going. I can't remember what they're talking about in the scene. It's with like Commissioner Gordon or something, and he just kind of looks at him like, like, come on, Batman. I thought you were like a smart millionaire, and you got Gordon saying whatever he's saying. You look like you have no idea what he's talking about. It's like, come on.
And I was just gonna. There's a couple of things I was gonna say. One of them is that I know Ken mentioned about that no love for Nicholson or for Romero, but I believe Industrial Girl had mentioned both names through Twitch. So Ken, you're probably not seeing those comments. And then the other thing that when you guys are talking about like seeing the '89 Batman, I was a kid when I saw that. I'm like, Jesus Christ, how fucking old am I? Because I was there when it first opened, the first day of the premiere, at the theater.
Look, man, don't take it personally, because now.
Sorry, we're laughing. That's not nice, is it?
Man, I was scrolling through YouTube the other day, and they were looking, and there were some kids commenting on Linkin Park. And they're like, "Oh my God, this is like great classic rock," like I'm born in the wrong era, and I thought it was mean.
Oh God, I feel so old now.
No, dude, I apologize to the Led Zeppelin guys.
Yeah,
I did that at some point, so I apologize to the Led Zeppelin guys. Some kids did it to me with the Linkin Park, and I'm like, "Whoa, dude!"
I know, it's so weird.
There's so many classic rock bands that you have to apologize to now.
Like when I'll hear kids like on like the new reaction kids are like, "Oh my God, Disturbed, right? That's some classic."
That's a classic.
Oh my
like,
God!
What the fuck?
Okay, that's not even that old. Like, I'm sorry.
That's what I'm saying. But
don't make me sound old. Like, that's awful. That's worse. Well, Disturbed and Linkin Park. It's like it makes me feel old when people are like, "Wow, those are the classics." I'm like,
yeah,
dude. It's so weird. Also, like the big band that was huge during like when I was in high school was My Chemical Romance. They were a new band.
Oh, they were so big.
Dude,
yeah,
they were like
You're
they
after
were
us,
so
man.
cute. Yeah. And so like
Papa Roach, System of a Down, Linkin Park, Korn. Korn. All of those bands, they were like big back then, So, and then of course, like the emo scene was coming like in 2005-ish and later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
2004 to like 2010 it lasted really, but like it was so weird because like it was like coming out like that emo was like a new thing when I was like a freshman in high school or whatever, and like it's so weird to see like my friend's kid being like, My Chemical Romance is my favorite band, and she wasn't even born when they were like created, and it's so weird, like I gave her all my stuff from when I was like, I saved all my t-shirts, here you go, and she's just like, oh my God, this is a classic from Hot Topic.
Thanks, Hot Topic.
Even Hot Topic is classic now, right? It's like,
I know
that's pretty bad when they become classic. Yeah,
it's so weird.
Hot Topic has made it into Hollywood conversations.
It's true.
Hollywood characters, whatever they're creating, would talk about Hot Topic.
Yeah,
I saw some movie. I don't know what it was. I wasn't paying attention really, but they made a Hot Topic joke, and I'm like, oh dang it!
Oh, I feel caught out.
Like, damn, I feel like I just aged like 10 years.
Yeah.
It's so strange when you get to that age finally when you're like, well, Hot Topic was cool when I was younger. It sucks now. I don't know what the kids are into or whatever.
Yeah, I remember that. It was cool because it wasn't that mainstream, and then now it's a freaking
Now it's mainstream, but like you gotta think about like the name of the store is Hot Topic. It's like what is popular right now, and like it's back in like the late 90s and the early 2000s, goth and new metal were like really popular, and we're seeing that cycle back around now, and like I'm finally old enough to see like my first like cycle through again, and I'm seeing like the 90s fashion come back and like the early 2000s, and I'm like, all the gross low cut jeans that I always hated are back again. I should have saved them.
Like, damn.
Damn
I could have sold them to the kids at the mall for like double the price.
On Depop for like 80 as a what do you call it? It's
vintage.
Now it's vintage.
Yeah, vintage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, vintage.
Right.
So weird.
But that's funny because like I think of those Trip NYC pants with all like the like the all material that hung down and all the buckles, and I'm like,
the bondage
I remember
pants.
those. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
When you're in high school, you're like, wait a second, I just realized I was wearing like bondage pants and I was okay at
it's
school.
It's really inappropriate. Well, it actually wasn't okay at school. Like people were getting dress coded and stuff for all that stuff. And then I didn't understand why at the time. Like, what are you talking about? It's just, straps.
These could be my suspenders. I'm just wearing them down.
They're my knee suspenders.
Well, it's funny how you guys mentioned like trends coming back, because I don't know if you guys noticed too that like when it comes to like now we're kind of focusing on the music side of things, how metal is kind of making a comeback again, like big time.
Yeah.
Like like for example in the video game scene, metal is huge actually. I met a lot of people through the fighting game community that are actually musicians, and they're like, oh man, I play guitar, And then one of the I guess modern legends now is there's this guy. His name is Mick Gordon. He created the soundtrack for this game called Killer Instinct, and he basically kind of brought back the '90s feel of it, but with the modern touch of it. And this dude is like, he's a heavy guitar player, like he's into it, and to the point where he ended up becoming the guy who redid the Doom soundtrack, because Doom came out. He's cool. Yeah, Doom came out in 2016, the first game, and then the one Doom Eternal came out in 2019, and he was the guy that people went to for like any like hellish metal music, heavy stuff, So a lot of games now do have like heavy music on it, and it's so cool to kind of see that back, because you guys were talking about like trends when it comes to dressing up and all that, but it's so cool to kind of see metal make that resurgence again. Where
we have vinyl back.
Yeah, vinyl.
I was gonna say vinyl's coming back.
I love vinyl though. Yeah. But also like something that's coming back is like I think it's because like for the last several years something that's been really popular and like dominating the music scene is synthwave, like stuff that sounds like it's straight out of like the 80s, like Terminator soundtrack, like anything John Carpenter did. But like now we're seeing like with like the cyberpunk trend and like all that stuff, we're hearing like a lot of the 90s revival, but like late 90s, like early 2000s, even like some new metal influence coming back, and I'm all for it because like I love like 90s influence. Like Typo Negative is one of my favorite bands forever and always, and like like I'm digging that like metal revival.
But Korn was one of my favorites when I grew up in high school. Korn was one of mine, and I still really love the band to this day. They still do amazing work with what they do. They put on a hell of a show too. Like I've photographed them a few times. Every time they come to town, I'm shooting their show. Like it's so good to photograph and fun to see. So it's nice to see. And it's like 90% the original lineup again anyway. So it's like seeing them original, other than David's not drums. It's Ray, but Ray does a great job anyway. So who cares?
I think Jonathan Davis lives like 10 miles away from me. It was really weird.
Is that the new drummer for Korn?
You just go up to his house. Hey.
I will. I don't know where his house is, but I know that he
just
lives
knock
in,
on
like,
random doors.
I know, right? Fancy house.
Wait. Let's go back to the drummer from Korn. What's his name? The new guy?
The drummer from what?
Not David, but the one that replaced him. What's his name?
Ray.
I guess it's a drummer. I kind of didn't like his style as a drummer, and I'm gonna tell you why. because he made a lot of the fills way too busy. And a lot of the yeah,
like on the newer records. See, in fairness, I've only really listened to the older ones.
Not on the records, on the live performances. Because he'll play, like, say, for example, Falling Away From Me, or he'll play, like, you know, stuff that is just all he needs to do is just eighth notes, quarter notes, or 16th notes. Keep it like, you know, how the original track was. But this dude starts doing like 32th notes, or like goes in like
yeah,
you know, it's like he just goes way too it's like it makes me think of it makes
flexing.
Yeah, like he makes me think of a metal drummer trying to like do like
overcompensator.
Yeah, like he's trying to do like to me it's like having a drummer doing blast beats over jazz kind of thing.
Like you watch the movie Whiplash many times.
You know, it's like I'm like, no, dude, like, because it's like damn, you know, it's like, no, slow down, bro. You know, all you gotta do is just keep the rhythm. You know, do fills where it needs to be done, not just do like Chris Adler fills on top of a Korn song. It just doesn't work. You know, so I do have
I liked Chris too. I liked Chris, the drummer.
Chris,
shame he's not there anymore.
Yeah. That's all it. But that happens. Yeah, shit happens.
Yeah, understandable. But he has his own endeavors, right? But But this is where. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. But the new drummer, I don't even know his name, because right away I was like, I'm turning off from you, dude. Like, that's the thing. I have issues with drummers, right? Like, I guess because I've been a jazz drummer, I'm a metal drummer, so I kind of like try to be diverse. And like as a drummer, I remember when I was taught in high school, like as a drummer, even in high school, you know, I had a really good drum teacher, and he used to say, you want to have a conversation with your bandmates, which means. We're doing that right now because of the internet, right? We keep interrupting each other and stuff, but that's just because of bandwidth and stuff, right? You know, that's all that, you know. But like in a conversation, right? You basically want to kind of do that with your bandmates. You know, you do fills where it needs to be done, and like let the other musicians shine where they need to shine, and then you step in. But a lot of drummers, they just want to like do fills all over the place, and that's what we had with this new drummer, because Falling Away From Me is a very simple drum track. You know, just
it is very simple. The original song is fantastic, and David did a good job in those tracks. Like, by all means, and
that's
less
the
is
thing.
more.
Because that's the same thing I took approach with our upcoming album, actually, because the first album was kind of like an homage to like thrash metal 80s bands. You could probably kind of hear that, but in this album, I remember like I was like, you know what, I want these guys to shine, and if I just step in, I'm gonna show off. I'm gonna do that. But if I don't need to, I'm not gonna do that, because why would I want to like do like super fast fill on a song that is kind of slow? You know, I never got that from drummers. So that's like that's my issue with like the new drummer, that drummer from Korn. I'm like,
it's interesting because you know what? It's great to hear your perspective because you play. For myself, I don't play. I'm definitely not coordinated for it. That's why I do photography.
Right.
110%.
Right on.
I have more of the eye for the artistic side, not for the actual skills and coordination, by all means. So it's interesting to hear because I only saw the band Korn when they had David back in 2004. So that was a long time ago. So it's interesting. I'm now only kind of adjusted to Ray. So it's interesting to think now I feel like I'm going to key into that more.
Yeah, now you're just going to be like, oh my God, he does too many fills.
Definitely, don't worry. It won't ruin the band for me because you know what? They're my...
You can't blame Carlos.
Way to go. That was my nostalgia band, Carlos. That was my band to relive my high school days. Now it's out.
I don't want to trash the drummer because he's a badass fucking drummer. I got skills. But it's one of those things where you gotta know how to manage your skills, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I know you're a badass drummer, but you don't have to tell me like every 30 seconds.
A real talented drummer doesn't have to tell you every 30 seconds. That's what I feel really portrays here.
And that's what I got from
less is more sometimes.
Yes.
Less is more sometimes.
I'm gonna take a quick break. I will be right back.
Okay.
There you
go.
I'm laughing about a couple things because when we were talking about the classic rock thing and about all the stuff, and clearly all of you guys are younger than me, but you know, Ken is still in the chat, and Ken's a little bit older than me by like X amount of months. But when I was working with students down in South Seattle, this was around 2001. I remember I had a student come to me, "Hey, Mr. S, I've been really digging this classic rock band." And I'm thinking Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple, the Stones.
Oh my God!
No, not gonna be.
Oh no!
And so, guess what band this kid back in 2001 said?
Papa Roach.
No, Def Leppard. And for me, I'm like, when did this happen that the stuff I grew up with is now classic rock? And I had to kind of think about it. That was back in 1983 or whatever it was. So it really was a long time ago. But that stuff just sneaks up on you.
It does. Well, because like you mentioned something, Mark, earlier about being 1989. That's when I was born. Like I'm not trying to emphasize anything here, but like when you said that, I was like, I was born in 1989.
Wonderful.
So it's like, it's funny. Like you never really feel like it's going to happen to you where all of a sudden you're going to hear someone say, "Oh, that classic rock band, Linkin Park." And you go, they were the band that was around when like I was in high school. Like, come on.
You're born the same year.
I have my calculator going back and calculating because
God,
like the 90s, and then like, oh yeah, the 90s been a while.
Can you guys hear me? Because I think my headset's
I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm gonna get another one though, just in case.
Okay.
I'm gonna take a quick break, and I'm gonna get another one too. So, but I'll be back.
Okay. Yeah, no, I remember, so this is how old I am, that it used to be that the teachers would say, if we were asking, can we please use calculators on this math problem, it's like, what are you going to do, always have a calculator with you? Well, now we have phones.
Yeah, now we actually do have calculators with us at all times.
Yeah, so what do you got to say about that?
Right? In your face.
Man, we got everything now on the freaking phone.
Yeah,
crazy.
It's so true. Like you think of all the things like phones can do for you now, and it's just like I remember when I got my first phone, my first cell phone. It was like a flip phone. Like it was just like boop, flipped open, and you felt so like, ooh, I have a cell phone back then. And then now you're like, what the hell was phones before smartphones? Like every year to new models, so you're like, damn it, to upgrade.
You basically have a computer in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
No, seriously, yeah. Right now, technology is crazy. Like it is insane. Like I'm not a big computer guy, but somewhere.
Me neither.
And the capacity for, I just upgraded to the iPhone 12 because I was bitching to my to AT&T. I have AT&T and. I've been with them for a long time, and they've been having me. I didn't care really because I was just watching movies and stuff but I had like an old, very old. I think I had still DSL, and upgraded, and now I'm like 300, download and 300, upload. I don't know if that means anything to y'all, but that's a huge, a huge deal now. I mean, we have Elon Musk now throwing up a lot of satellites up in space, to give you that kind of speed, so we've come a long way, and the new iPhone is like, it's crazy.
Oh yeah.
Technology has gone up so much. You can do a lot of it, but like all I do with this is watch memes, so
I know. It's really all they're for now. I just look for funny memes all the time. Like when something funny in the world happens, you're like, okay, 5 seconds after you're looking at your phone going, okay, when's the meme going to show up?
Yeah.
Like when Pence had the fly on his head. I'm pretty sure that was like, I think that took like 5 minutes before it was like a meme across the world. Dude. It's just like, well, poor guy. Like you kind of feel for him, but at the same time, you're like, who cares?
Yeah,
they're political people. Who cares?
Can you guys hear me on this headset now?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow, I could hear you on either one. So I could anyway. But
okay, no, I wasn't sure because this one's ancient technology now. There's the cable.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know. Mine actually has the cable. I'm very vintage over here with my vintage earbuds.
It sounds good. It sounds good either way.
Okay.
Cool.
You're good.
Yeah, I think this is a good moment for me to jump in about Bara because we saw the Apple commercial from that Alex and Carlos were a part of.
Yeah.
So we have Barahari's weapon video queued up as well. So
Oh, sweet.
let's show it so people can understand what the latest is about Barahari, and then we'll come back and we'll just dive into whatever the fuck you guys want to talk about.
All right, cool.
Let's go. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Wow, I haven't heard that song in a while.
I was just jamming to the song because I had no idea what was going on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. I love that song actually.
Yeah.
Thanks.
The video has a very Kill Bill feel to it, like
Yeah.
the samurai sword and the suit.
That was
and then
totally
the
the
schoolgirl
influence.
suit. Yeah, I
That's
love
what
it.
Alex was telling me right now. Like he was actually describing everything what's going on. So yeah, I got that feedback. So okay.
Nice.
Yeah,
Right on. Awesome.
it's that's my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. So I like it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
I
very
love
cool.
it. Thank you.
Both 1 and 2 actually. That's
One
both
and two
movies
are
did
like
well.
one movie,
Yeah.
pretty much. Yeah, like they're. I can't pick like which one I like more.
Now, musically speaking, Bara, did you find that did you draw like inspiration from the movie too for that, or was that more
No.
different than that? Just video wise, you went that direction.
Yeah, video wise, I went that direction. It's like a really like "fuck you" kind of song. So I was like, I was like, what's a good like movie? Well, I mean, it's a replica, so I mean, it wasn't sharp.
Was it sharp? Like you
no,
put yourself with it?
sharp. Yeah, it was super sharp. Like
it looked real.
Nah,
Yeah.
no, it was just like one of those movie replicas. So it wasn't too
That's
scary.
cool.
But yeah, like I figured
No.
like that movie was a good like representation of like the sentiment behind the song. So
Right.
I made it's like I'm gonna make it Kill Bill themed.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really cool.
Well,
I
then,
love that movie.
Didn't you also do the video, right?
Yeah, I edited the video. I did the costumes. I did so I did a lot of work for that little video.
And I applaud that because like, when it comes to, like you said, like, I don't know if you're an introvert, but like,
oh yeah,
like,
yeah,
it takes so much, to be out of your comfort zone and do all that. You did the custom and all that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work,
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. So, like, and like Mark said earlier, like, like he's been meeting a lot of people, and a lot of them, they're introverts. So it makes me think, like, who's who's introvert out there that we don't know of, and we can being an extrovert.
Yeah, most musicians I would say are introverts.
Yeah,
so, like I know that I think you mentioned that, like, I'm an introvert big time, but like when I'm on stage, like I have big time stage fright, but like when you get over it, you're just like somebody else. Like you just like that shy person is just like not even you anymore. You're like stage version of you. And so yeah, like I think that like that's why a lot of introverts are drawn to music. I think it's because like it's the best of both worlds. You have like your creative expression, like you're able to express like things that you may not be able to otherwise. And then additionally, it also kind of forces you to get out of your comfort zone and like unleash that like extroverted side of you for a little bit at a time, and then you can just like go back to introvert mode, and then that do all the behind the scenes stuff. And
and that's what I want to say.
Very true.
We can get some introvert appreciation, because
I don't know about guitarists though, man. A lot of metal guitarists, man. Like, I'm
and drummers.
I'm jamming out. Meanwhile, the drummer and
he's the drummer and the singer. So what is he gonna say about
that? I have issues with metal guitarists, man. Like when guitarists mix albums, they're always gonna make the guitar sound louder.
Yes, I'll agree with that.
Yeah,
they're always gonna, and I'm like, man, get out of here.
Everybody's got their bias.
It's like, why does this guitar sound louder? The bass is kind of a little bit like in the middle, but the drums are like, man. It's like, don't you have enough on stage already? So I'm
drums are key. Drums are very key in the music industry. People pretend like, oh, it's just guitar and singer, and I'm like, no. The drums really play. Sorry, an important part. In song, because they really hold the beat most of the time.
Let me interrupt real quick and say goodbye to Industrial Girl. I know.
Bye,
have a good night.
She's leaving.
Industrial Girl, take it easy.
Yeah, have a good night. But continue.
Yeah, and then another thing about
this conversation was an introvert appreciation conversation.
Hey man, I'm just saying, because a lot of these guitarists claim themselves like introverts, but they're out there like, look at me, bro. I'm doing this solo, and then the spotlight's on me. Man, get out of here, bro.
But I'm just so shy. I'm really just so shy.
Anyway, this guy is my brother, so I let him like say what he got to say. So why?
Like Mark said, which kind of today hit me like hard, to be honest. What you said, like that you've been interviewing a lot of people, and a lot of them have been introverts. It's like a lot of the art, like I see a lot of comments online that says like, get a real job, it's like, and they diminish a lot what the arts are, because I understand now there's a huge, I guess, side trend going into people going into encouraging not to go back to college, not to go to college, because kind of the world doesn't appreciate that kind of, I guess, talent, I would say, more on the more practical, because during the pandemic, going back to that, like the essential jobs kind of stood out, a lot of people talk about the the burger flippers, and I don't mean to insult anybody like that,
No.
But in the middle of the pandemic, here in Houston and Texas, a lot of people were desperate. You couldn't go anywhere, but you would go down and trying to get a burger, and so those jobs kind of became essential.
Mm.
You know, and then at the grocery stores, you know, you got the people stocking the products that you needed. So in the middle of this pandemic, there was essential people, you know. But then if you were bored and desperate at home, who kept you entertained?
Yeah, because I was just gonna say, yeah. And then it's not seem like it's still not like deemed as essential, but like imagine how much worse off people would have been if there was no Netflix, no Hulu, no Disney Plus,
and
no
that's
movies,
my appreciation.
No music that got you through the hard times.
Yes, for introverts who step out of their zone. I mean, if extroverts are out there and they're comfortable talking and taking
the extroverts are bitching that they can go to fucking bars, concerts,
so
like a park.
Like I said, this is appreciation conversation, and those who step out of the comfort zone and as introverts, you know, who they are one, you know how much it takes to step out of the comfort zone. You know, it takes a lot of effort. And you create all this art going all the way from country music to death metal to acting, you know, everything in between, all kinds of arts. And Mark tells me in his experience that a lot of people are introverts, you know. Now that I think about Robin Williams, you know, like that's how we ended, you know, how things ended. But it makes me think that he was an introvert somehow.
He was an introvert.
You know,
he was.
But he kind of had to pull all this strength to go out there and gave us all this character, everything, you know. So
Jim Carrey is actually introvert. He said in a lot of interviews that he does this to kind of like, you know, to kind of put himself, you know, in that or like of trying to fit in, but he doesn't fit in, so he goes back and does a lot of art on his own, you know. So that's
going back, this is an introvert appreciation you know, a conversation, and for the people who step out of their comfort zone to give you all this quality material, to, you know, from acting to music to everything, you know. And I specifically included country music because I don't like country music at all, you know. But you know, like there's art everywhere, you know, people who produce it for you, and that's what keeps you entertained. So in the middle of the pandemic, if you were entertained and somebody was an introvert, you know, stepping out of the comfort zone to give it to you, you got to appreciate that. So that idea that, oh, you need to get a real job, you know, because we were going back, you know, like like at the beginning of this, you know, this conversation we had, we were talking about how, you know, we're putting music out there, you know, and it happens that a lot of people are introverts, and giving that to you, identify with it because, like, you know, like I said, this is my extrovert, you know, but normally I'm an introvert and I don't talk that much.
I will testify to that. I guess I am, and that's why the whole Apple thing came about, because like I'm out there. I don't care anymore. Like I think because of my disability, I kind of like took it where, like, you know what, if people are gonna judge me, that why should I care what people think about me? You know, like it got to that point. So, and like again, I stream on a weekly basis. I play fighting games. I do all this stuff, you know, and so that kind of just made me like, even my girlfriend right now, you know, she goes, she's like, hey, it's funny because like, so because sometimes I do want to just I don't want to hear from anybody, you know. But then I'm more like, man, I miss hanging out. I miss going to mosh pits. I miss going to concerts. I miss going.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're an introvert. You're an extrovert, you know, because you want to hang out with everybody. So, you know, but then at the same time, I'm like, you know what? I have my streams. I talk to people. Like I can get like in a comfort zone. Like I don't need the extrovert juice like he does. Like, you know, but you know, but I can, because I hold streams a lot of times, and I'm like, I just got out of work and I just start streaming. And I'm like talking to everybody on stream and like, hey, what's up, guys? You know, like, you know, whatever, you know, but it's like, I I get it, So, and regarding our second album, I will say that a lot of that has been portrayed on this album, like because a lot of stuff with the pandemic and everything, and him going through. I got obviously with the stuff with the he was talking about a while ago, like I've literally before we went live tonight, I heard one of the upcoming tracks that he kind of went back and redid some of the solos and everything, and kind of just rearranged some stuff. I was just blown away. I'm like, man, I can't wait till we release this stuff. I'm like looking forward to it. So if people don't get it, it's because they're not listening. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and again, like I can add into all this, and trust me, I love the fact that I have not had to say anything during this fun table. It's been awesome for me because trust me,
I keep looking at you like,
Mark, even I'm looking at you, bro. I'm like, wait, can I say something?
No, because
we're being divas.
I would much rather have this than the other way where I have to keep pushing things forward because I do that during my interviews. So I love just sitting back and being a fly on the wall. But what I can add to this is that you'd be surprised. So like I interviewed Courtney Cox last week or 2 weeks ago from the Iron Maidens.
Oh, that was fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah, that was cool.
Thank you. She's an introvert. And you would think, well, really, she is? The way she's on stage and the way she was even during that interview, it's like, she's an introvert. She doesn't like doing that. She had to learn how to become that kind of personality just by being on stage and by interacting with fans. But you would never know it.
That reminds me of Tatiana from Ginger. I don't know if you don't know her,
talented,
oh my God, yeah. If you do not know Tatiana I don't even gonna pronounce her last name, but Tatiana from Ginger, amazing vocalist. She can go from like raw to like beautiful singing.
Yeah,
amazing.
I'll have to check that out.
If you haven't checked out Ginger, man, you're missing out. First of all, that her is part of the band. The band overall.
Yeah,
amazing bass player, amazing guitarist.
Also, she wouldn't be able to exist without the band.
Yeah. Exactly. The band, like the drummer. Again, I'm a drummer.
Hi, Dan.
Hey, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Hey, Dan. How's it going, Dan?
Dan's from the Joy Thieves and from the Burying Kind. He was with the Fun Table last Saturday, and he's a fucking amazing drummer and musician and remixer and everything else. So,
hey, awesome.
Good thing he missed your whole thing about drummers.
Oh, Dan.
Oh yeah, I'm going on drummers on that.
Back to
Don't rewind. Don't rewind later. Just skip that part.
Ginger, like Tatiana, they're that's another band you gotta check out. Ginger, like Tatiana did come out and say that she just doesn't like. She's very shy. She doesn't like interviews. She doesn't like the spotlight. She just wants to get on stage, jam, and get the fuck out. Basically, that's her. Definitely check that band out if you haven't checked them out. That's one of my modern favorite bands right now. Ginger is fucking awesome.
Is it spelled with it's like Ginger, like Ginger?
Okay,
that's what I thought because I have seen that spelling. So
Ginger is fucking.
Yeah. Okay, never mind. I was thinking it was somebody else, but yeah. Then if it's Jinjer, then I've seen Ginger. Yeah, she's very, very good at what she does. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought it was somebody else. I don't know. My head's somewhere else.
I'm talking about Ginger.
Yeah. I saw them on Halloween in Vancouver. That was pretty cool. Yeah.
We were supposed to see the fucking band in April of last year. They were supposed to come down to Houston. And
dude.
There
were so many tours.
That tour was supposed to be, check this out. Oh my God. I would have died to see and hear this. Ginger, Lacuna Coil, Arch Enemy, and what's the other one? And Delane. It was Delane, Arch Enemy, Lacuna Coil, and Ginger. Female.
Wow, Lacuna Coil's amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man.
Fuck, man. Oh my God, but then this happened. So
I saw Lacuna Coil many, many years ago. I don't even remember them because it was like before my photography days. So I honestly don't remember anything. I feel like before then.
I really like early Lacuna Coil.
The latest stuff I'm whatever, but the later stuff I'm good. Yeah, I'm the same.
I think they're still good, but like I definitely liked their sound at the beginning. It was like I don't know, there's something like really like
it was different for the time.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Well, because they came out during the the new metal era, right? Like
Yeah,
the album dropped and was like, wait, this is like completely different, you know?
it was like melodic, like she sang
melodic,
her,
yeah, which is
yeah, and Christina Scabia can harmonize
Yes.
like motherfucker.
Yeah.
She's so her voice is so pretty.
But when going back to like introverts, right? Like what Alex was saying, like, you know, I think that's why we brought Ginger, because it's like you have these bands or like these front people, right? Who you think like, oh man, like they want to hang out with everybody, whatever. But sometimes it's just a personality on stage, right?
Yeah.
Right. And it's like once you get off stage,
I'll be right back.
yeah.
Keep going.
No problem.
Hi.
All right, Mark. So it's just something else, right? You know, so
Yeah.
that makes total sense. Like
It's like the guys from
Totally
War,
true.
like the guys from
Oh,
War.
yeah.
Yeah, like they're just like larger than life personalities, but like at
Mhm.
the, at
And
the
they're
end of the
way-
day, they just love to make shit. Like they're just like workmen.
Yeah, that's very true. So I remember Ballsack. I can't remember his real name. I don't know why it's phasing me right now, but like when you see him on stage, like his character, his persona, like he's so big and he wears the stilts and everything. Like it's just so big. And then you see him off stage and he's just very chill. Like he just puts on a bell cap and shirt like and everything, and he's just like walks around. You'd never know. It's so funny and seems bizarre to see when like they just walk around like normal.
Yeah, it's cool though. I mean, I like it when people are like that. Like I like it when they're still humble. You know.
I think that's what I like about the whole metal scene, honestly, because like when we go to shows and stuff, especially like it's low, like small places like, you know, the House of Blues, you know, kind of these like maybe like you know, like maybe at least like 1,000 and below kind of people like come on to see all these bands. Is that I think that's what I like about the whole metal community, because a lot of them, they know that if you go over your head, you're gonna get shit on big time, because it's like other people can play your music and sometimes they can play it better than you can.
Yeah.
That's worse when they can play better than
Yeah. So because we met the guys from Testament, like we met the guys from like Exodus. Like huge like thrash metal fans. So you hear a lot of like thrash metal bands here. You know, we met those guys, the guys for Warbringer. We actually opened for Warbringer, you know, so that was a good time.
Cool. That's cool.
Yeah. So like, but that's some. The point is that it's like a lot of that's what I like about going to these shows. You know, like I remember meeting Gary Holt and like Alex Skolnick from Testament, and even they were the ones like, "Hey, you guys want to take a picture? Let's go, man!" You know. So I like that, man. That's what I like. It's like this whole Hollywood shit was like, "Oh, I'm better than you," so like I need to put a barrier between you and myself because I'm better than you. Fuck you.
Yeah.
You know? I don't
no kidding.
You know?
Yeah, like I don't like that. I'm not about that rock star personality.
That's why, honestly, I don't like Carrey King. He's a fucking asshole. He's
100%. 100%. Yeah.
This guy's just like
Dave
bringing the
Mustaine is very much the same way too.
Yeah, Dave Mustaine too. He's they're all fucking
such an idiot.
Yeah,
I hate Dave Mustaine.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It sounds horrible because he went through cancer and stuff, but it's still I still feel the same way. I feel for him for that stage, but I don't like
even
him.
James Hetfield seems more chill than Dave Mustaine, which which is saying a lot because Metallica are bigger than Megadeth. You know? Yeah, and then
by tenfold. Yeah.
Well, you can literally chill with James Hetfield and Kirk Hammett. You know, like that. That's except Lars. I hate Lars. Fuck Lars. Anyway,
nobody likes Lars.
Yeah,
nobody likes him.
He's a shitty drummer. Anyway. And that's a guy who listens to music 100%. I don't know what he looks like. I don't give a shit what he looks like. I hear his drumming and it sounds like shit. So fuck that guy.
Wow.
Like Carlos.
Fuck
Carl.
Anyway,
passionate about it.
I'm passionate about that. But in my point though, right, it's like what overall the metal scene though, it does have that vibe. A lot of the times you meet these bands. Like I remember one time, I was at the local show here in town. I was at a local and I was coming out of the venue with my girlfriend, right? And I was just talking to her. I was like, "Hey, I want to get a shirt from from Havoc, you know, because they're a fucking good band." Then I hear to my left, "Hey, I'm playing Havoc. What's up, dude? What's your name, man?" And I was like, "What the fuck?" And it's like it was that David Sanchez. He was like, "Hey, what's up, man? Dude, I just started talking to him like as if I knew him for a long time ago, you know." And that to me, he's like a badass guitarist, a badass drummer. I mean, a guitarist, lead guitarist. And like, so I was like, wow, you know, Dave, what's up, dude? You know, and he was like, yeah, I'm in Havoc. What's up, man? You know, so I like that, man. You know, so it's just the fact that they know that they have fans who really truly listen to the music all the way, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what I like about that, you know, the metal scene in that sense, because for the most part, people realize that, hey, without the people supporting you, you're nothing, dude. You know.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like I'll tell you this. One of our guys that knows us, Ken Puckett over there in the chat, you know, dude, that guy, man, that dude is like a huge fan of Distartica.
We were at a Cannibal Corpse show, and then it was him, right?
Yeah, it was him, dude.
And he came up with us, and he's like, "Hey, man, you know, I'm a big fan," and he showed us like I think it was the album in Spotify or something like that, and I was like, it was crazy, man. It was crazy. You're jamming out. Cool. One of your
favorite.
You're
jamming to us, really?
Yeah,
you know,
and then you gotta
and then
coming to you and say like, hey man, I'm a fan of your music, you know, even though I'm at fucking Cannibal Corpse show, like Cannibal Corpse is a fucking classic, man, by now, you know, so it's like that was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Back to that classic thing where you say a band that formed early on. We're like, oh, now we feel old again. Saying Cannibals classic. Oh. Oh, they are. They really are.
Yeah. Well, and
I'm looking in the comments. Says fuck Lars.
Thank you. Fuck Lars. I hate that asshole. Fuck him sideways, upside down, upside up. I don't give a shit. Fuck that guy, man.
It'd be so funny if Lars was sitting there and he's just like, "Oh my god, they hate me."
I hate when he talks and
he can handle it.
I'm sure he's fine.
I hate him when he talks and he's eating. Me as a blind person, I don't want to even picture you eating with your mouth open, motherfucker. Shut the fuck up. God damn it, man. Fuck, I hate that shit, man.
I feel like throwing in another
yeah.
Carlos, let me give you a piece of advice. I think you really need to learn how to speak your mind.
Yeah. Tell us how you really feel.
You really need mind, dude. Like,
I like the fact that I let him be free, man, because like I hold a lot of shit back, dude. You know, it's like fuck, man. But you know what? I let it out on my drums. That's what I do. So
yeah, music and the music,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Dan's got a good comment here. So never trust a musician who isn't a music fan. Capital letters. As weird as it sounds, there are quite a few like that out there.
That's very true. Very true, Dan. You can tell a musician that is in it for the paycheck versus someone who's in it for the love of the music. You can totally tell.
Or even worse, there's the ones that are in it for like the fame and the girls. Those are my favorite.
Yeah. It's funny though. You think you wouldn't go into like heavy metal because we're a very small community. We're like family, so it seems kind of weird to be in it for that when you're in heavy metal.
That's
the word goes around very quickly in this family.
Oh yeah. It's kind of like that small town, right? Where you know that guy, like
that guy,
that guy, or like that chick, you know. It's like, oh yeah, you know, you know for a fact, you know, stay away from that shit, you know,
right?
Mm-hmm.
No.
But yeah, I'm just
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Mark.
Oh, Dan, if you're still there, and it sounds like you are, I was just going to let you know that up to the second that the first guest came on to this live stream, I was still playing Horizon from your EP. I must have played that thing maybe 28 times in a row. I fucking love that song. So kudos to you and Scott David. It's just a fucking amazing song, and it makes me feel so good every time I listen to it. So if you're still out there, thank you for creating that song. It's just amazing to me.
So speaking of that, Mark, so like for everyone here, what's a song that really stands out for you that makes you feel good every time you listen to it? Or you may have, obviously, like I know myself, I have more than one song. I can't just list one. But what's everyone's opinion on that?
I'm gonna put some satire here. I'm so blind.
Nicely said, Carlos. Nice.
Do you like Third Eye Blind also?
Yeah, I love the puns. Okay, she got
nice.
I'm out. I'm done. I'll be back. I'm out for a bit right now.
Mic drop. A song that makes me
if we had a mic.
Every time. A song that makes me feel good every time. Oh wow, there's a lot of those. Girls on Film by Duran Duran.
Oh, nice.
Like, I don't know, like something about like 80s pop just like always makes me feel good.
Yeah. Nice. I was gonna say there's lots of songs. Like it's really hard because like my favorite band's Behemoth, but I just recently started listening to the band called Powerwolf out of Germany. And oh my God, every time I listen to Incense and Iron, it's just like, if I'm behind the wheel, it's like I can feel my car go like 10 kilometers faster. Like it's just like woo! Like
so that's kind of good. Like it makes you feel like you have like Thor power within you. Yeah.
Which actually that reference is very suiting for Powerwolf. It just really ties into them.
There you go.
Yeah. So I know myself, that's one of them. Zombie Slam by Pain out of Sweden. Yeah. There's a lot of different ones out there that every time I listen to it, I just like Zombie Slam by Pain. I almost kind of like chuckle at, but love the song because it's just kind of cheesy in the way when you watch the video. It's very cheesy when you watch Peter Tatagran in a suit and stuff. And when you see them live, you're like, he doesn't dress in a suit.
It's called Zombie Slam.
Yeah, that's the name of the song. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I got a song for you guys, like an actual answer than just me bullshitting away.
Other than just puns,
right? I mean, that literally made me like, I'm out. That was badass. I love that shit, man. Trust me, man. I love it. I think so. When I listen to Master of Puppets, I know a lot of people. I even see like reactors say this shit all the time. Oh, it's about drugs and shit, whatever, you know. To me, it's about a disability. You know why? Because it says if like when you listen to the lyrics, right, it actually says that if you let it control you, then it's gonna take over you, and that's the Master of Puppets, you know.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Man,
much deeper than I originally anticipated when I listened to Master of Puppets. Yeah.
You know what?
I was just like, that was awesome.
Can I get a beer with that?
Hell yeah.
You've earned your beer. Yeah.
I earned my beer. I love it.
If you literally, wow.
Yeah, you know,
I've heard Matt.
Well, you know what? You know why?
I never thought of it that deep before.
You know where I got that from? Because I was watching there was actually Alex hooked me up to this. There's a really good video on YouTube called it's like a documentary of how they recorded Master of Puppets. And James Hetfield came on one of the clips and he said, you know what? That song is up to interpretation. So it's not necessarily, it could be about drugs, it could be about politics, anything, whatever, you know. So I'm like, what kept me in a sense where being like, hey, like,
I'm his brother, and I'm like fucking blown away.
Yeah, he doesn't. I'm
I need another beer. I need another sip. Yeah.
I'm doing this right now, like legit, like real shit. And I'm like, you know what? What did make me feel like I was a puppet of a master? And I was like, oh shit, my disability. You know?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, you know what? My blindness is not gonna be my master of puppets. Get the fuck out of here. I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna be mastering this shit, you know? So that's why when I hear now when it says master of puppets pulling the strings, you know, that could literally mean me being like a disabled person and saying, oh, look at me, I'm blind, I feel sorry for myself, donate some money to me. No, fuck that, you know.
Life is what you make it, no matter what the scenario.
Yeah, you know what's funny? You know what's funny about I say that about the whole donation thing, because I stream now, right? And the reason, and I get subscribers and everything, and I'm like, guys, don't donate to me because I'm blind. I want you to donate me because I'm a good fighting game player. Like, you know, don't do something that makes you feel good. If you're donating me because I'm blind or you feel sorry for me, I'm a return. I'm gonna say, get the fuck out of here. You know,
right?
Don't give me that shit. You know. So to me, the Master of Puppets, the reason why I like that song even more now, and I'm actually learning it on guitar because I want to be on the spotlight one day. You know, instead of behind the fucking drums. So, you know,
but like I said earlier, the drums hold the beat.
Hey,
they really hold the
drummers are underappreciated.
Guitarists don't know that and they don't appreciate it. Except this guy, my brother.
Look, man, I didn't get an Apple commercial. This motherfucker did. I just came along with the ride. Yeah.
You're like, oh, there was my 5 seconds in the commercial.
But to me, like you guys was asking for Master of, and I actually went. The reason I stepped out because I wanted to think about it. Right, I literally did this right now in real time because I'm like, what's the song that really like gets to me, you know? And I'm like, Master of Puppets, you know. Master of Puppets could be anything: drugs, alcohol,
the government,
and the
government.
In my case, is a disability. If you let a disability define who you are, then that's what's gonna get you all the time. Notice how this whole conversation, the only time it comes up is because I bring it up because I'm like, whatever. But otherwise, Mark or anybody hasn't brought it up because I don't know, because of the stigma or whatever, But it's like, don't let it do that, Sometimes you just have to speak about it, So master puppets to me is my disability, I don't want it to be the thing, the invisible thing that's holding me back. So that's why I love that song even more now, because James in that documentary, he said that's up to interpretation. A lot of people have seen drugs or whatever, but James was like, that's not what intended. It could be anything. So I'm like, okay, that's my disability. This motherfucker is not gonna be a master of puppets to me. Fuck out of here. I'm not. So
something that's really cool about you too, Carlos, is that like you approach it with humor, because that makes it so much easier for not only for you to deal with, but like everyone else to approach it.
I did it. And he welcomes me here.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, like I'm not like trying to steal your thunder or whatever, but like I have a quote unquote disability as well. Like I don't talk about it because it's not super active all the time, but like I joke about it like all the time, So like it's, to me, like that's the best way of healing and dealing with it, is to just kind of like you're bigger than it,
That's true.
Yeah, totally. And like everybody kind of has their own way of dealing with it, and like you can't expect everyone to laugh at themselves and whatever, but like personally, you and I that make as many jokes as you want about it. And there's actually a comedian named Daniel Sloss, if you've ever heard of him. He's a Scottish comedian, and he had a sister with a disability, and he has a whole segment about like how a lot of people don't like to joke about it because it offends them, instead of like worrying about how it offends the actual person that has the disability. They're worried about like how it offends them and how it makes them feel to say, a word or a joke or whatever. And I feel like that's like something that affects society at large. It's just like this, like, I'm afraid of how it makes me feel instead of how it makes this person feel. And I almost kind of feel like it works that way with like, is there actually true altruism? Like a lot of people, I feel, donate or, whatever, because of how it makes them feel like a better person because they did it. Or like, is there a true altruism? Like, is there an instance where it actually genuinely is a cause bigger than your ego, than yourself?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can speak to that because I grew up with a family, and I think a lot of people have, where if you rub my back, I rub yours, kind of a thing. So it could be a neighbor, it could be a family member. And it wasn't until about 10 or 12 years ago that I met a coworker who genuinely was doing things because he liked doing it. He didn't want anything back. He didn't expect anything. And I just remember being around him like, this fucker's going to ask me for a favor at some point. No one's this nice.
There's got to be a catch.
No, it sucks.
And then
when you meet somebody like that, and you just are like, wait, like I feel bad taking this because are you expecting something back?
Then I realized that he wasn't. He was like, Mark, I just get a lot of joy in doing these things, and I don't want anything back from anybody that I do. And I saw him in action do this time and time again. So then I started to adopt it, and I can tell you, it's fucking hard. It's really hard to be that honest with yourself that I'm only doing this because I want to do it, and I don't expect anything in return. A one-way street. But I think I've adopted maybe 50% of it, so I'm on my way to getting there. But it's such a change of mindset, a change of everything that you, in my case, what I believe in. And it just took a long time to actually do it. And I was just going to kind of jokingly say to Carlos that I would have no problem talking about your disability, but I don't know what this Master of Puppets song is. I don't know what you're talking about. So I'm at a fucking.
Is that like a country song or something? I've never heard of it.
I never heard of
it.
What's this puppet show you're talking about?
Yeah, is that like
oh, it's the Muppets. Oh,
Muppets. Master of Muppets.
Master of Muppets.
Master of Muppets. Wow, why is there no Master of Muppets? Like,
I know. I was just thinking that. I'm like, come on.
No.
That shit.
It's like
it's like
that rule where you think it exists already. So
Yeah.
I'm sure it's
like,
out
come
there,
on,
like,
they've done the Muppets doing Bohemian Rhapsody. Come on.
Yeah.
Get Master of Muppets on the
Master of
phone. It's
Well,
so
there might have been-
obvious.
I know. There's always like legal stuff that they, but it's still fucking
Get
Muppets.
James
like,
on the horn.
yeah.
Hey, James, how do you feel about Master of Muppets? He's just like, no. No one parodies us.
Pastor of Muppets.
Master of Muppets.
Oh man.
Done.
I sense a whole thing starting now.
Yeah, we started something.
Yeah.
I don't know who's gonna be Lars. Like, what Muppet do you hate the most that has to be Lars? Like, it's just like, you know.
Oh man, it's gonna be like Oscar the Grouch.
Like, I know Animal's the drummer, but Animal's amazing versus Lars. So you can't make Animal Lars. That's just mean to Animal.
Who's gonna be Lars?
They're gonna create a new Muppet just for that.
Just to be Lars, yeah. You know what? We'll just make a new Muppet. It's fine.
It's just gonna be called Fuck Lars.
The Lars, yeah.
Lars. Oh my god. Man.
Everyone else gets to be a different Muppet. But
Yeah.
Lars gets specifically made because no one hates a Muppet as much as people hate Lars.
Yeah.
So it's like, well.
I mean, yeah.
I kind of want to see this.
I don't even want to top that anymore, man. It's like I'm done, man.
Like, I'm just also imagining how, like, you know, like Carlos was mentioning, like the vocal like describers or whatever he was saying.
Oh yeah.
Like imagine that for like this little parody.
Oh yeah.
So
Audio description.
Audio description.
Well, you know what it's gonna say is Ken's got part of your paraphrase there, Carlos, where it said Master of Muppets is great, but fuck Lars. It's just gonna say Pastor of Muppets is great, but fuck Lars. It's like,
Yeah, let me chill with the Alice of the Zoo right now. Oh my god, that's like,
Oh man.
it's gonna be awesome. We need to pitch this to Disney so they can make the Muppets do Metallica. Like, I'm just saying, it's gotta happen. It's gotta happen. Or whoever's watching this is computer savvy.
Fucking can, man. Yo, man. Ooh, yo, I'm done.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. It'd be like the best Muppets ever.
Man.
Yeah.
I gotta chill with Ken too, man. Shout out to that guy, dude. Like, I see him post a lot of like building PCs and shit, and I'm like a computer nerd, so like I'm there, man. So yeah, I see him. You know, I see him. Figuratively speaking, I see him. He's out there, dude.
Oh my god, Ken just posted Lars Napster killer all rich coming to a Muppet show near you. That is priceless. That is priceless.
Yeah,
100%.
Ken is going in right now, dude. Oh my god.
Yeah.
They're gonna face off with
Ken's the
you.
agent. Ken can be the agent to Pastor of Muppets. He's in. As long as Ken's up for it, he's in.
Pastor of Muppets, man. I love it.
I love it.
That's fucking awesome.
I will comment. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mark.
No. Just saying hi to Tony because he said he had the wrong night. So yeah.
Oh, hey Tony.
Normally we're on Saturdays, but we're on Friday today. So hi, Tony.
I will say cheers to Dan Milligan on his comment on having a drink with all of us. When this pandemic's over, I'm in.
I'm in too, man. Trust me, man. Like, I would love to drink everybody just hanging out.
Actually, in Texas, they already opened everything up.
Yeah, that's true.
They're going fucking crazy. So
I can't even get to the States, so you know.
Oh, yeah.
The land borders are all closed, so yeah.
But
I miss the US to some extent.
It's like impossible for us to get to Canada.
Yeah. We can fly down, but it just seems kind of silly because then you have to quarantine, like you have to do the quarantine process.
You gotta do that quarantine process, so it's like a lot of waste of fucking money. Yeah.
And in Canada, they just approved the system where you have to stay in government-approved hotels. Well, flying into Vancouver, the government-approved hotel is the Fairmont Hotel. So it's like $500 a night. And you
Oh
have
my
to stay
God.
there for like 4 or
Wow.
5 nights
That's
before
so
you get your
weird.
test and everything.
Oh,
So it's
shit.
very expensive. Very,
Yeah.
very expensive.
Fucking insane.
What a mess.
Cheers.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
just like profiteering. So I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what that?
Yeah.
So
But
everything. Oh,
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna ask them like everything in Texas is open.
It is actually
Everything, huh?
Everything. Yeah.
It's like the pandemic's not even there.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I
Like
got
not
her-
even there.
I
Yeah,
heard her
sorry.
tone right away. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, air quotations. It's like it's not there.
I was gonna say I don't know if you guys have heard of like Metalocalypse, but it's just
Oh yeah.
Yes.
go forth and die.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
110%.
Go forth and die. You know, please open.
Do
And
they
like
still make
100%.
episodes of Metalocalypse?
No, I don't think so.
No? Okay.
It's over.
You
It's
know,
over.
It's all gone,
over.
right?
It's
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of
Kind of
those
short-lived.
It's one of those things,
Yeah.
right? Where you wish that
No,
somebody.
let me say this. Let me say this.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that is not profitable for people.
No.
You know?
True.
And going back to because I'm an introvert, go back to those, you know, like appreciation for introverts that give you all this art, you know. So, but yeah, that is dead. That is dead, you know. Like, and introverts, you know, all this entertainment, you know, that you thought for a long time was extroverts, but extroverts are like, I'm sorry, I don't want to offend anybody like this, but extroverts out there going banging, you know, but introverts giving you quality music and everything in between, you know. That's all I wanted to say when I you know picked up that topic, you know.
Cheers.
Quality shit.
I love it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
It's a sad sight for me. Let me
Look at my blind ass makes fucking cheers. Look at this shit. He goes like this, and I'm like,
I'm like,
it's like
Not making it hard for Carlos at all, Alex. Not making it hard at all. Just like an awkward spot to
come on,
cheer
bro.
from.
Come on, bro. Don't make it awkward, man. Come on.
There we go.
We make it awkward. We make it awkward because introverts make it awkward.
Yeah.
Cheers, motherfucker.
It's like an introvert expression. We make it awkward.
We make it awkward.
We live off of awkward. Holy shit, man.
Do you guys also find that like ever since the pandemic and like less in-person social interactions, like it's harder for you to put sentences together? Like, no, not just me.
Not me. Again, and this is because I guess I'm streaming, and I think Mark could probably like maybe like
no, it's different with Carlos because he's like he became I don't know if I got this wrong.
No.
But Carlos became social online, you know, after a while because he started doing his gaming and stuff like that, you know, so he became social online, you know, but you know, so I'm glad he kind of like went over that, you know. I do like he went over that, like, you know, like, man, there's a lot of things to talk about, just me and Carlos, but there was a lot of things going on, you know, from like, you know, well, Carlos, like he mentioned, he's got a college degree, you know, but that process for me telling you that he's got a college degree is like simplifying it, but like Carlos got a fucking college degree. And think about it. Close your eyes and try to go to any university and try to find your classroom, you know, with a blindfold. That's what it is, you know. So if I tell you Carlos has a fucking degree, I'm telling you Carlos was blindfolded trying to find his class, you know, from all those things in between, you know, like the nasty details, you know, like put a blindfold and trying to find your class, you know, your 10 o'clock class, psychology class, whatever it is, you know, going to school. That's what I'm trying to say, you know. And in Houston, you know, we got We got metro here, you know, like the bus.
Mhm.
At the time, I mean, you're not gonna drive if you're, you know, fucking visually impaired.
Yeah.
So it's like you live 40 minutes or 50 minutes away from the university. How do you find your way over there, you know? So when I say Carlos has a bachelor's degree, is 4 years of a lot of shit in between, you know? So it's like, hey,
Yeah.
how do you find your, you know?
Which that's like that is such an accomplishment because you were saying like putting the blindfold on. I'm like, I probably couldn't even leave my living room with the blindfold on without hitting something along the way. Like it's just like that's such an accomplishment. So that's awesome. Yeah.
It goes from like, because I seen one time walking going somewhere and he hit his knee on like a stool, whatever, you know, like walking to somewhere, going to get a college degree, and then you walking, and then you know, and then you hit yourself on whatever obstacle that's out there, you know, and then it hurts.
Yeah.
You know, I've been there, and it hurts like a motherfucker, you know.
Yeah.
And then it's like, how do you recover from that and then you go into your 10 o'clock class, you know? So when I'm saying Carlos has a degree in psychology, I'm saying all that in between, you know? When you hit yourself, you know, how do you go from that to being a normal, functional person in society, you know? That's what it took. And I want to put this interesting fact between me and Carlos out there, you know, now that I got my fucking extrovert juice going
Extrovert juice. Yeah.
Carlos is good at the visual stuff because he has played Mortal Kombat. Go back and fire it up. Go back and fire up Mortal Kombat and close your eyes and see if you can do anything with it. You know, he has done it professionally, you know, because even Ed Boon has recognized Ed Boon is the creator of Mortal Kombat. Ed Boon and Tobias, you know, and they have mentioned this guy, you know. How do you go from that? And then but we're immigrants coming into this country. I love America. You know, it's like I love America like Texans love fucking Texas. I'm gonna say that. I love America like
I love
America
is fucking Dallas Cowboys fans love the Cowboys even though
Anyway, moving from that. and I'm gonna say this, you know, Carlos is big time. This is the irony of life. Carlos is big time into he knows. Carlos loves video games, you know, and he's blind, you know, and he's good at what he does. I guarantee you, go into the Mortal Kombat tournament, you'll find Carlos's name in there, you know. But we came here to the United States because Carlos was blind and because I was deaf. You know, I'm deaf on this fucking ear, you know, like I don't have no skills. I have no business going into, you know, audio, but I'm a musician, you know, and I have a degree in audio engineering and I'm deaf. And Carlos is in the music and the video game industry and is blind, you know. The irony of life, man, you know, when you're passionate. And that's what I'm saying. This and is an appreciation conversation for introverts. When you're passionate about something, and when you're so passionate about something that you bypass, that you go above your inhibitions, your disabilities, to create something because you believe it so much, you know. When you bypass that, you know, like it's easy to do something when you are already good at it, you know, but how hard is it when you try to do something where you're not good at it, but you're passionate about it, you know? Carlos is blind and he's into video games big time, you know? I'm fucking deaf you know, and I'm into audio engineering. It's the most, what do you call that?
Ironic?
I was gonna say, I think it's like you said, ironic. Yeah, there really isn't a different way to put that.
You know? And then on top of that, we create a band. You know, I appreciate my bandmates. You know, like my other bandmates. Then I hear his name is Carlos. His name is Carlos too. You know, because he's already Carlos. You know, and then we have Hector.
How did you decide who was Carlos 1, Carlos 2? Like, how did you decide that?
Well, because he's my brother, so and the other guy is 2. So,
he's not family, so he gets to be number 2.
Yeah,
fucked up.
Yeah. and then we got Hector, the other guy, you know, and you know, we created the band and blah, 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 you know. So we move forward, and this going back, this is an appreciation for people who try so hard to go bypass and go over their disabilities, you know, never minding them, you know, and giving you entertainment, giving you music, giving you everything so you can be at home. You can be at home and enjoying your time, you know. So I want to take you guys too, you know, like Bara. I was checking your music earlier today, you know, and you said like, hey, you know, I did all this myself. That is fucking badass, you know. And Char, you know, you helping out people like us put our stuff out there, you know. So this is an introvert appreciation conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for doing that for us, you know.
Don't forget Mark.
And Mark, oh yeah, Mark.
Don't forget Mark.
Of course.
Mark, he just got forgotten.
Sorry,
Mark.
Right. Nah. Don't forget Ken Bucket, man.
Oh yeah,
our
and
friend Ken Bucket on the chat, man.
And our friend in the chat, you know, like
I mean, he's a fan of the Distartica, but he's a friend, dude.
Yeah.
You know,
I hope.
I'm hoping sooner, but our vaccine process is very slow right now, so I doubt that's going to be the case.
Exactly. Yeah. Be realistic. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like maybe like a 50% hugger, but once we get back to, you know, shows and stuff, I'm gonna be hugging every fucking person I see.
Like forget boundaries. I'm hugging everybody just in case it's like the last time you see him again.
Mark, you better let me know. I'm gonna trip you with my cane, bro. So.
Oh,
yeah, you're out.
Again, thank you, everybody. Dan, thank you for checking us out and hanging in there for us. I know we're there in the Chicago area. And
bye, Dan.
And yeah, everyone.
Thanks, Dan.
Go check out The Bearing Kind. I'm probably going to listen to Horizons again before I have to review something tonight. So that's why I have to kind of cut this. Well, not short, but I have to kind of cut it off at some point.
So do I. Yeah, I'm like I have Wardruna to review, and I'm sure that album isn't short. Wardruna is known for atmospheric 10-minute plus songs, so in a good way, but it'll be some time.
We'll definitely hit up Metal Titans because I want them to hear our album and hearing what they will have to say about the album. So
yeah, like I say, our email is metaltitans@gmail.com. So feel free when your record's ready to go and all that, just shoot us an email and put attention Char, and I'll be there.
Well, we want to hear the feedback from our first album first before we leave our second album. You know, just
for sure. For sure.
I mean, you heard some from the Apple commercial, and you thought it was good. So I'm like,
that's really awesome. Yeah.
Let's rest and see what they think. You know, so I know.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All the musicians here, everybody, great job on your music. Very, very well done. So I can't wait to check out everybody's music after this.
Awesome. Well, have a good night, a great weekend, everybody. And
good night. Thanks again, Mark. Stay safe.
That's
fun.
Thanks for having us, Mark. We appreciate it, man.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.